Day of the Dead, happy All Hallows Eve. We have a very special show for you tonight. Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas, AKA Merlin, and my magic wand is going to spin all sorts of magic for you tonight, including some of our favorite speakers and guests. But we also want to really honor the traditions of this remarkable holiday, and we're going to learn a lot about that. And I just want to start by reading something and invite all of you, as you listen, to drop into the spirit for this event as we honor the origin of Samhain. It's a time to remember our dead, but not to mourn them, rather to embrace their spirits and let their wisdom help guide us in our time here on earth. And that's very much what tonight is all about. So welcome, everybody. I know a lot of you are watching us on Facebook. And I want to thank all of our different broadcast partners. We're going to thank them specifically a little bit later in the show. But I know a lot of you are watching on Unify, possibly on New Realities TV, on all the different Love Coach Academy cross-promoted sites or the Sign group promoted sites. If you're on Facebook, hey, come on into our Zoom room. You know, by coming into the Zoom room, there's all sorts of wonderful things that can happen. Most of which is if you are in costume, we might just bring you on air where people can see your costume. And at the very least, you can interact with us. We can chat with you much more easily. And you're going to want to chat with us tonight because we've got a trans medium who's going to do psychic readings from spirit guides for some of you that are with us in the Zoom room tonight. So this is a really important night to come, even if you're watching right now on Facebook, join us in the Zoom room. And it's easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com. Go to globalpeacetribe.com and register. It's easy. And then you'll be in the Zoom room with us. And perhaps, and I mean this seriously, someone on the other side who wants to talk to you might have the opportunity to do that tonight. There's a lot of other advantages too, is that once we get your email, then we can send you the email on Monday that has the replay of this recording, but also all of our previous shows. We've done 28 previous shows to tonight, maybe even 29. I've lost track. And you also will get schedule and special gifts and special invitations. So go to globalpeacetribe.com and register. My partner Deborah has probably put that into the links, and welcome. We also want to encourage you to share this out on your Facebook page. If you're watching on Facebook, just go to where it says share, click share, and you can post it on your timeline. You can share it in a group or a page that you manage. And for those of you in the Zoom room, you can do that as well. Just go to Love Coach Academy page. If you go to the Love Coach Academy page on Facebook, click live, boom, you'll see us. There I am in my regalia here. And you can share it out as well. Last week, we had over 200 people who shared us out. And that's how we're growing and growing and growing. And now this show that started very humbly is now reaching tens of thousands of people every week. It's pretty exciting. And a big reason that that's happening is because I have an amazing partner who makes this show happen. And so it's my pleasure to bring to you my partner, Deborah Giusti. Take it away, Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. Coming to you as the Earth Goddess tonight. I help Mama Gaia prepare and be flourishing and love you all. So good to be with you. And this is a really special night again. This is actually our 30th show of our season. We began with the lockdown and we're continuing on. We have 8 more shows we're going to do from November and December. Amazing shows we'll tell you about later. And it's a very special night. It's Halloween, it's All Hallows Eve, it's Samhain. And, we used to go out. We used to go out and party. We used to go out and, we'd be at parties now having a good time. So this is really special that we get to come together online and share love and fun and really go deeper into behind what Halloween is all about for this time. So we're really happy that you are here and get to be with us. And this is going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to share a dance party that you can go to after this event here so we can all dance together. And we'll share about that later. But we have an incredible group of presenters and musicians to be with you like we always do. And these are specialists in going between the veils, what it's like to communicate with our beloveds on the other side, and specialists in Samhain and Day of the Dead and all of that. So I want to share with you now who's going to be here. One of the people we have that we're really happy to have is Mark Anthony. He's a psychic lawyer, a psychic explorer. He's world-renowned 4th-generation science-based psychic medium who communicates with spirits. And he's actually, towards the end of the show, going to be able to call in and communicate with your beloveds on the other side. So hang around for that. And we have Guinevere Bridge. She's a priestess of the walking prayer, clairvoyant, minister, and ceremonialist. We also have Dannion Brinkley. Well, he's a 3-time bestseller author. He's been struck by lightning twice and has the most complete near-death experience on record. And so he's really going to share with us what it's like to be on the other side. We have Greg Magic Bernstein. For almost 25 years, he's been working with shaman, kahuna, sorcerers, and other master teachers, training on how to effectuate change and awakening others. We have Larry Cooper. He is a partner for Conscious Living in Colorado. And tonight we're also supporting him and his community as fire victims, which we do every show lately because of the fires. And this is from the Colorado fire. So it's not only the West Coast, but Colorado that's been having the wildfires that we are going to be supporting. We have Rosie Veda Berryessa. She's a wellness educator, multi-talented woman, and she is going to enlighten us on the Day of the Dead. We have Ray Jupiter as one of our musicians. Really happy to have her. She's an international singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. She's featured in The Art of the Beautiful Sound of Us. And we have one of our favorite musicians that we keep bringing back to the show, Pollyanna Bush. She's a singer, songwriter, vocal coach, and spiritual leader. We have Bethany Lovelight, another conscious cosmic musician who offers anthems for avatars. And we have Meld, a multi-talented musician who has a fierce passion for the wellness of Mother Earth. And we also have magic, so appropriate for tonight. We're going to have Miss Sylvia Scepter. She's a time-traveling magician who invites you into her world of illusion and theater magic. And she's coming all the way from England. So please invite your friends to join us on Zoom now. If you're on Facebook, please share. And please share the replay. If you signed up with us, you'll get the replay afterwards. Please share the replay with your friends and the show can go on and on. Feel free to comment in the chat room and speak to our presenters. And stick around to the end for a community connection where we can bring you on and you can share whatever you'd like to share with all the people on Zoom. And I want to share that GoFundMe that we will share throughout the program as a really special part of our program. We have been doing this from the beginning. We've distributed probably around $50,000 to $60,000 to nonprofit organizations, and especially lately, the fire victims in the West Coast, California and Oregon, and now Colorado. These are people who in one moment lost their homes, all their belongings. And so we, with the power of our green love energy, are allowing with the GoFundMe to help these people, and you will get to personally connect with them. And also, we really appreciate your donations to Saturday Night Live when you register. When you donate there, it really helps us to give you a really high-class show every Saturday night, which is what we're doing now. So thank you so much for joining us, and this is going to be a lot of fun. And
Deborah, I just wanted to make sure we remember to thank our sponsor.
Yes.
So thank you, Jay Mayer, who was on camera a moment ago, and now he's disappeared. But Jay and his partner, Jan, we really want to thank you so much. There is his beautiful partner, Jan, and I'll bring up a picture of Jay. There he is. Hey, there he is. Thank you so much, Jay, for all that you do to support us. We really appreciate it. There he is.
Yes, so much love to Jay and Jan. They've been ongoing sponsors, and they have been behind what's allowed us to keep bringing this show to you every week as well. So we love and appreciate them so much. So thank you, Jay and Jan. And you'll see more of them, Jay and Light Touch, and all that he has to offer a little bit later. And so now we always love to start with music because that connects us all, that raises the vibration, that gets us smiling. And so we're going to bring on one of our favorite musicians. Pollyanna Bush is a singer-songwriter, and she is also a vocal coach. She's a spiritual leader. She works on a myriad of musical genres, and she has performed on over 100 recording projects. She is really the real deal. I love her music. I love how she takes us to a really high place. And thank you, Pollyanna, for being with us tonight and opening up sacred space in this beautiful show.
Thank you, Deborah, for that beautiful introduction. And thank you, Scott. It's always a pleasure to join you, this beautiful global peace tribe. And I have with me today Charles Moselle, who is one of the most creative human beings I've ever met. So we are really looking forward to sharing with you. I wrote this song especially for tonight to invite us all into dropping in, breathing, feeling that connection, because the veils are very thin tonight. So allow yourself to come into your sensitivity, into your heart, and to listen to those voices that are speaking to you, that are loving you, and reaching to you from the other side. From the other side.
Oh my God, Pollyanna, that is fantastic.
Let me put my headphones on.
Uh,
What'd you say?
I said that was fantastic and just such a blessing to have you joining us and kicking us off. Such an amazing start. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And thank you to your partner there.
Wild and crazy. Can you believe that guy?
Oh my God, it was awesome. I got chills when he starts playing that alto sax.
Yes.
Hey, I do want to let people know that although Pollyanna will be back doing one more song later
You
tonight.
get to click off that thing. I don't know. It's showing my little, get rid of
What's
that.
up?
Pop up. Get rid of the pop up.
Pollyanna, we still hear you, love.
I know. Oh, well, you got to get rid of the pop up.
So I am showing Pollyanna's website, pollyannabush.com. It's easy to remember. And that's where you can learn a lot about what she has going. You can join her email list, pollyannabush.com. And she's got a brand new program that's about to start. Tell us about that, Pollyanna.
So it's called the Empowered Singer Training, and it's a 6-month training that's starting in February, the second week in February. And it's an opportunity to really dive deep and manifest your voice, the vocal mastery that you've been wanting to have, and combine it with leadership skills and presencing and coming forth with what your contribution is in the world, so that you're really feeling empowered as a singer. And you don't necessarily have to have singing be what your profession is. It can be that you are a speaker, or you're starting a nonprofit, or you're, in the corporate world, or wherever you happen to be in the world serving. This program can really help you go deep and get to the next level or levels. So I'd love to have you reach out to me, info@pollyannabush.com, and I can give you more information. You can go on my website and get go on to that page, and you'll get to read about it.
Great. Thank you, Pollyanna. Thank you so much. And we'll see you a little bit later on in the show.
Thank you, Scott.
All right. It's now my pleasure to introduce Rosie. And Rosie is coming to us from Mexico. This is Rosie Veda Berriesa. And she's a wellness educator, multicultural curriculum developer. She's worked many years in urban settings, serving children and their families. She's a somatic healing helper, a Qigong practitioner. Wow, she's done a lot. Singer, permaculturist, co-counselor, poet, and most of all, she's a reformer, innovator, peacekeeper, vibes keeper, prancer, and dancer, living in diverse worlds for the sake of all. Wow. And she's with us tonight because we do want to honor the spirit of the Day of the Dead. And she is coming to us from Mexico to really tell us about the tradition of the Day of the Dead. So thank you, Rosie, for being with us, and take it away.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here. It's all one this time of year. The pre-Hispanic roots for Day of the Dead, El Dia de los Muertos, are the cultures of Mesoamerican indigenous people, Nahua in particular, Aztecas, Mayas, Toltecas, Chichimec, Tepanec, living in this area for over 3,000 years, and they're still here. And there's a goddess that presides here. She's the Lady of the Dead, and her name is Mictecacíhuatl. Mictecacíhuatl is with us now. So tonight actually is on the 31st is the night of the witches, La Noche de las Brujas. Tomorrow is the Day of the Innocents, of the children who have passed on. A little bit of Catholicism runs through there. They call it All Saints Day and All Souls Day, which is on Monday. And there's a holiday here. People take the day off. They're seriously in communion with their ancestors. And it's the adults of their blood, but also of spiritual connection, which So one of the things I thought would be fun to do is let's construct an altar, because that's what we do when they're coming through, you know. And so I will show you an altar here. There we go. Oh, no, I got you, Scott. No, there we go. Here we go. And this is an altar. I came home last night and found that my granddaughter and daughter had already put this together. This was in the kitchen. So I just thought I'd let you know about some of the symbols there. So we have the calaveras, the sugar skulls, which are representing the people, but also you'll see that there are photographs there. And they're the folks who passed away and are prominent on the altar, on the ofrenda. Anything sweet, those sweet skulls remind us of life and all of its sweetness. And then see the flowers, the orange flowers, called marigolds, cempasúchil, and the scent and the color draws all the spirits. They're coming by, they're here, they want to be in communion with us as we are with them. There's copal, which is the incense, which also draws them. And then there's the papel picado, that there's sort of like flags there. And do you see how there are little holes there? My granddaughter made those. The spirits can pass through those easily, in and out and waft. And the thinness of the tissue paper reminds us of the fragility of life. And then there's salt. There's always some salt. And the salt, perhaps the spirits are a little thirsty or in need of some purification. So that is there also. And then there's the pan de muerto. And I happened to pick up one, and I thought I would bring it and show you close up. You see the roundness is the skull, and then the lengthening parts here are the limbs. And we eat that, and we eat that. Am I back again? Have I lost the screen? No, I think we've still got the screen. There we go. All righty. So then we've got all our offerings, and you might want to put on things that people would like to eat. And it is a time to renew those relationships, to hear the stories, because time renews itself with spirit and heart, and all of those by honoring our ancestors of blood, ancestors of spiritual, social community, decolonizing and re-inhabiting ourselves and our territories, our hearts as evolving, caring human beings. Healing intergenerational trauma, yes. Body, migration in body, heart, and spirit. Thus, this ofrenda carries all refugees and immigrants with cultural and spiritual identity. This is a spiral of spiritual growth. We turn to each other, remembering, making whole. Blessings to everyone.
Oh, thank you so much, Rosie. Thank you. And Rosie has really been blessing us with this wisdom. And she suggested that this would be a website that we could go to for more information. Tell us a little bit about this, Rosie.
Well, what Mission Cultural Center has been spreading the news and, holding people for many, many years. And one of the beauties I thought this year, as I came to look and see what are they doing, what's going on here, is that they made a description of 5 altars. And 4 of them had to do with, air, earth, fire, and water. But the additional one as 5, because 5 is a revolution, 4 is a square. What is beautiful about this one particularly is that the middle is self-love. Self-love, and then toward community, which is really important right now. So that's the reason why I included that one.
Thank you. And one other website she suggested where we can get a little more information on Day of the Dead. Tell us about this one.
All right, Living Legacies, Dia de los Muertos. SOMARTS has for years, Renee Yanez, who has become an ancestor, has had every year artists, there'll be a particular theme. And so Day of the Dead will be expressed through that particular theme. He passed away 2 years ago, rest in peace, rest in power. And this year, there still is work. His son has taken over the work. So I just wanted to offer that as well, because he's been such a fixture in the Latino and Mexican community in San Francisco.
Thank you very, very, very much for being with us, Rosie. That's just a beautiful start. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I am going to bring on board somebody who's been very special in my life. This is Guinevere Bridge. You may find her in our gallery. There she is. Most of you probably know that almost 9 years ago, my wife passed away. And it was a big one. You know, she was only 52. She was the love of my life. And I had previously worked with Guinevere, and Guinevere actually reached out to me and said, your wife Suchi's been coming through me and wants to talk to you. And I had 2 amazing experiences of communing with my wife on the other side through Guinevere. It was life-changing. And I've since had an opportunity to work with her in different ways. I'm gonna put the full spotlight on her for a moment. And so Guinevere she's a remarkable woman. She was born with some very special gifts, and she has continued to cultivate those gifts. And she's a lot. She's a priestess of the Walking Prayer from the Earth Song clan. She does rainbow lightning attunement. She's a clairvoyant, minister, a ceremonialist, and she's been really dedicating her entire life to cultivating these extraordinary gifts that she has. She's also a lot of fun. So Guinevere, thank you so much for being with us, and I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you so much, Scott. I really appreciate you in more ways than I can even say, and you know this. So I'm going to cover some basics, and Rosie was lovely because she covered a lot of things that I'm going to be speaking on. One of the things I've always found fascinating about this time of year is how many cultures globally are involved in the same practice at the same time. For instance, what you experience with Samhain, which is the Irish pagan festival, is one part of it. It was originating from Ireland. It was originating through Ireland and France, and then it moved through those areas. And then when you think about Halloween, that's when the church came into the picture. So, you know, All Saints Day, Hallows Eve, which is what Rosie had mentioned. And you can see that all these people were honoring the dead at this time. But we're going to go and focus in on Samhain and what makes Halloween Halloween and what makes Samhain Samhain. First off, Samhain is the Wiccans' New Year. It is the end of the year, for real. It's the end of the harvest cycles. It's the last harvest, which is why we have pumpkins and we have nuts and fruits, and everybody's getting ready for it all to go. And the goddess, which is a green goddess of the earth, has lost the god. He goes to seed at this time. So it's kind of that really intimate energy around drawing in what we love and what we lost, because we have to be prepared for the coming winter when the god is born again, as you know, Merry Christmas, everybody. So Yule, the goddess comes back at Yule. And then of course we go May 1st for when they go into reunion. So it's an interesting cycle that says, Happy New Year. And by the way, honor the dead, recognize that they're amongst us. This time of year, the chains, anything that stops the living and the dead from flowing together is completely broken. All that is taken away. So the living, that would be us when we're doing a very good job, can become incredibly influenced by this energy that moves through. So what we need to do when it's this time of year is we have to understand that certain traditions were in place as kinds of forms of protections of the fact that these worlds have shattered at this time. Life and death has opened the veil. There is no veil anymore. It's literally gone. And it creates timelessness. It creates bonding. So I'm going to start a very interesting ceremony that represents this whole thing. And as I take you through it, each of the things I show you is part of that whole thing. So enjoy, and we start. This represents the bonfire. They lit the bonfires so the dead could find their way. If you're with me right now, what I want you to do is I want you to go into your heart, and I want you to imagine this is the initiation. This is the bonfire of your heart. This is the calling of positive forces to be with you tonight. When you can see and experience and influence and be influenced by beautiful things. But Being influenced by beautiful things isn't the only thing that happens. Fairies are loose. Demons are loose. Ghosts are loose. We have our loved ones with us, but so are all different kinds of mischievous spirits. So what do we do about that, right? Well, we ring a bell to discourage mischief. Go away, oh mischievous ones. Go, go, go back. We're not working with mischief. We're not working with demons. Let that bell bless you and surround you with that light. And as you already know, you light the bonfires, you burn all different kinds of plants. You can burn sage, palo santo, you can burn evergreen trees. Whatever you need to burn, it helps purify and sanctify your area. So you want to keep that strongly in mind. But where did the candy come from, right? Where did the candy come from? Well, because this was a time to honor your beloved ones. After you sent off the mischievous spirits and you wanted to honor them, you would sacrifice fruits and nuts. You would create a feast in their honor, very much just like Dia de los Muertos. So that altar that Rosie shared, you want to see that altar in your heart right now. You see that bonfire in your heart right now, burning bright. You want to see an altar being set within your soul to prepare a sacred feast for your loved ones. And did I bring a sacred feast? Yes, I did, because you have to sacrifice the nuts and the fruits. So here is the sacrifice. Kids going door to door, asking for candy, representing the spirits of the fairies, the spirits of the ancestors you want visiting you at this time of year, and you give them candy. So they're happy, so they're fed, and they'll wander door to door visiting their relatives. So you want to see that tonight, your beloved ones who've moved into spirit are going to visit you. What kind of sacrifice are you going to leave on the table? Like the Dia de los Muertos altar with the food, with the bread. You want to make sure you feed the dead. So do so, please. So bring in your attention to those 4 sacred corners. In the first, as we focus on the east, which is the golden doorway, this candle represents your family that has gone into spirit. This is the bonfire to your family. See this bonfire lighting inside you and around you, surrounding everyone you love with beauty and tenderness. Fathers, mothers, cousins, aunts, uncles, hear their names in your heart. Hear them. This candle represents the children. If you're a parent and you've lost a beloved child, see this bonfire, this candle in your child's heart. See it deep within you. If you've left behind a sacred partner, a wife, a husband, a dear love, see this candle burning in their heart. Invite them to have candy and feast with you. And finally, this represents all forms of friends, family, loved ones, children, pets, saints, angels, fairies. See it burning around you. Know that as you do this tonight, they hear you, they see you, they've come to frolic, they've come door to door to enjoy a meal with you. We are all together and we will take flight tonight. Oracles, dancing, bonfires light their way. And you know what you get to do? You get to plan your future with them again. Now is the time when you think about their reincarnation. They will come back again. And now tonight, you get to think about how you will know them again, how you will be reunited. For one thing we can all know is coming. We are all born and we all die. So this is a very sacred time to offer these things: fire, smoke, candy, scents, dancing, costumes, and love. Speak to your loved ones. That's the little mini visualization. Please take it within your heart. Tonight, I will be calling out the names after this ceremony. I will be throwing them into the fire, and I will be offering love and solace and blessings to all of you. Thank you, Scott.
God bless you, Guinevere. Thank you so much. And everybody, we can learn more about Guinevere by going to her website. I know that Deborah's been putting it in the chat box and in the links, but I'm also going to put up her poster there. I love that poster. I love all the color. So it's linktr.ee/. Guinevere, Gwenevere, Guinevere's Enchantments. Guinevere's Enchantments. And again, it's Gweneveres, plural, Enchantments. And so that's where we're going to learn a lot more about her. And Guinevere, I sure hope you'll be willing to come back to our show again soon.
I would very much love it, and I adore you. And I'm sending you and all your loved ones blessings tonight when I start the bonfire. Know this, I am not done. This evening will go long.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Guinevere referred us to a girlfriend of hers, and Deborah is going to introduce her to us right now.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Guinevere. And yes, we're up for some more music because this is a celebration night, so we're going to have a lot of great music. And we're going to hear the music of Meld. Hers is a fierce passion for the wellness of Mother Earth and protecting the environment. She takes us on an eclectic, soulful journey. She is inspired from many different music genres, progressive soul, jazz, jam band, very creative, highly entertaining. And here is Meld.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Can you hear me? All good?
Yes, we hear you well.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm so grateful that Guinevere, oh, look at her in the corner, just already getting dance. She's getting ready. I'm so grateful Guinevere referred me to this because this has been such a joy. And I'm going to play one song for you guys tonight. And I wanted to just briefly kind of explain, and there's a really cool story about how I actually interacted with my father, who passed away about 4 months ago, through this song. So I wrote it about like 3 months before he passed, and I sent it to him, and he loved it. I ended up playing it for him a bunch the last couple days of his life because it was one of the songs he really just wanted to hear as he was making his transition. And there's one lyric in the song that says, "Send me an eagle." And I've been told, I'm sure a lot of you have also been told this, but that if you specifically can ask our loved ones to send us something, whatever that may be, send me a flower, send me a rainbow today or whatever. Usually it's pretty amazing what can happen and what they can do. So I'm going to play a song that's called "Send Me a Mountain," but there's one lyric in here that says "Send me an eagle." And about 2 days after he passed, I went kayaking with his mother. And as we're in upstate New York in this beautiful lake, I saw the first bald eagle I've ever seen fly overhead, and I just knew it was him. So it was a beautiful moment. And how amazing to be connecting with our loved ones through song. So here we go. I took a walk through a sea of trees. A blue heron flew right overhead of me. I saw my reflection in the evergreens, and I wished for change. Oh, it seems the only thing that brings me real peace these days is a bottle of wide open sky, and I'll drink till I remember that it is a part of me. I'll never be caged, no, no. And if life gets ahead of me, please spark my memory and send me a mountain so I can feel high. Send me a river so I can unwind. Send me an eagle so I can touch God, and send me the cold so I The wide open west is my spirit's home, but out east is where I know I'll rest my bones. For now I've got Tennessee, and if I ever leave, I know where I'll go. I'll get inspired by the blue in my baby's eyes, find a place way up north by the ocean side. Someday I'll leave the city for a simpler life. I'll know when it's time. Oh, and if life gets ahead of me, please spark my memory. Send me a mountain so I can fly high. Send me a river so I can unwind. Send me an eagle so I can touch God. Send me the cold so I know what I'm not. But if I ever lose my grounding, send me a mountain. Oh, 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 'cause I need to know that I'm not alone. And every cell and every flower or tree is as much a part of me as the air that I breathe. So send me a mountain so I can feel high. Send me a river so I can unwind. Send me an eagle so I can touch God. You send me the cold so I know what I'm not. And if I ever lose my grounding, send me a mountain. Oh, ooh, ooh. Send me a mountain. Ooh, ooh.
I'm literally choked up. I'm literally having trouble talking right now. So many of those moments just really, I can feel, I think the whole audience could feel that. That was extraordinary, just extraordinary. And to save me, while I kind of catch my breath, I'm going to go to your promotional postcard here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you're all going to want to get more of her music. It's www.meldmusic.net. Meldmusic.net. You can also follow her on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at Meld Music. And I thank you.
Thank you.
It's not often that Scott Katamas is speechless, and I'm kind of speechless right now.
Oh, I'm so honored. I just hope that, that music continues to serve as a way for all of us to connect with our loved ones. Even beyond Halloween. I feel like it's just such a powerful conduit. So there we go, right?
I think that's why your song is so powerful, because each one of those things you're asking to be sent are different things we need at different moments as we're dealing with the grief, the loss, the celebration, all those different aspects. You nailed it, Meld. You nailed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is going to be one of those nights, I can tell. I'm going to bring on our next guest. Some of you saw him. I know a lot of you were on our Street Talk show last night, and Larry Cooper was on that show with us. Welcome back, Larry. It looks like you have kind of moved up in the world into your Pharaoh self. And I think you need to unmute because we can't hear you. And we want to have a complete Larry experience. While you're unmuting, let me tell people about you. Larry is a partner at Journeys for Conscious Living in Colorado. He and his partner, Trina, have worked for 12 years to provide community experiences, meetings, events, including very popular Evolve Expo, and also thought leadership that inspire and empower the world. Collectively, he and his wife support others who are looking to live a life of higher consciousness, passion, and purpose through meetings, events, and education for empowering individuals and businesses to reach their highest potential. And Larry, you have had some very unique experiences with death and with what happens after death. And thank you for sharing with us tonight a little bit about what you've experienced.
Thank you for having me. And wow, the person before me, Melanie, was amazing. That was so incredible. She touched my heart. Thank you so much. You know, as I listened to Guinevere, she had said that she was born with these gifts. And I don't remember having any gifts as a medium or seeing or any real abilities of that sort that I recall. But when I was 22, I was having surgery. And during the surgery, a cauterizing knife malfunctioned and it shocked me and stopped my heart. And what I remember was being on the ceiling and watching everything from the room, the doctor running out of the room, nurses coming in, and eventually they got my heart going again. I was right back in my body. And of course, that moment changed everything for me. It changed my abilities to see, to recognize. I started seeing dead people everywhere, and I started communicating with them. More so, they were communicating with me because they knew I could see them. I'll move forward all the way to 2001. I was traveling and I had an experience where I got very sick and somehow managed to get back to Colorado, but I ended up with a staph infection. I ran 106.4 fever for several days. And during that time, I left this plane and there was a tunnel with an amazing white crystalline light that I entered into. And I flowed through this tunnel, and on the other side was greeted by a master in this flowing white robe, really long white hair. And he took me to a place that is just vivid in my memory, just beauty and peace. There were angels and archangels all around. And I just loved being there, and it was so warming and knowing that there really was such a place that we came from, that recognition. He looked at me eventually and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You know, you're not supposed to be here yet." And I went right back into my body, and it was the middle of the night, came to, and nurse was surprised that I came back. And then the same thing happened the next night. I went through this tunnel again, went to the other side. I was greeted by the same master. We traveled further and I saw more. I visited with masters. I visited with beings and other incredible, beautiful things that I'd never thought could be real. And got to a point where this master, his name was Melchizedek, said to me, "You don't have to go back, but I want you to know that you went down to accomplish something and you haven't done it yet. So the choice is yours. Do you want to go back or do you want to stay?" And I chose to go back, and I was back in my body and woke up and started healing. But the amazing thing was Melchizedek was with me. He stayed with me for almost 8 months as I ran a fever for 8 months. And my abilities were so pronounced, it was unbelievable. When I woke up, the only thing that I remembered were these words, which were, "To thine own self be true." Because when you are on the other side, nothing mattered except for what you've done, who you are, and your presence in that place at that time. Everything else is just a distraction. So as I came back and I healed over that 8 months, as I started going out in public, there were souls approaching me everywhere, talking to me, wanting me to help them. And it was very challenging to be on this plane at that point in time. And over time, some people that I know started losing loved ones. And a couple of real quick things. One of them actually came to me and started following me around, and I recognized him, and he just wanted to talk to his mom and sister. And so we got together and we had that opportunity. He came right through me, and we talked to them, and he got to, close his time with them also. And then others came to me also. And I'd be sitting in a bar or something unusual, and people would walk up to me and start talking to me like they knew that I had these abilities. And I'm looking at them going, what are you talking about? How does this come about? Well, and then finally, what I want to tell you about is at Journeys for Conscious Living, we were hosting Mark Anthony. And Mark is amazing. And my mother had died. And we didn't bury her ashes right away. My brother, older brother, actually took the ashes and he put them in her closet, in his closet, and didn't do anything with them. Well, things started happening in my house. Things were flying off the shelves. We were having dreams. She was showing up in our house, and there's all this activity. And finally, my wife and I finally said, okay, we get it. You're here. Let's find your ashes. And we finally found her ashes. We had a very nice service for her. And during the service, we brought all these roses. She loved roses. And all the grandkids took roses and put them into the grave site. And when Mark was doing his readings at our place, Journeys for Conscious Living, I was an observer sitting back about 30 feet, and he's working with people. His readings are amazing. And all of a sudden he said, all right, there's someone here, Larry, you better get up here because she's not going to stop talking to me. And of course, it was my mom. So what I want to tell you is that we can communicate with people on the other side. The veil is thin, and it's a belief and an opportunity to open our eyes and to calm ourselves enough so that we can communicate with people who have just passed or that have passed sometime before. And that night, Mark told me that my mom told him every color of the rose that went into that grave. And he was dead on with every color of the rose that went in the grave. So I know this is all true. I still do this work with people to help them heal. I came back with these abilities to see energy centers in bodies. And it's such a pleasure to work with so many incredible souls here on earth and on the other plane. So thank you very much for having me, and very much a pleasure to be part of the show tonight.
Stick around, Larry, because we have something else to talk to you about. But I want to just let people know that to learn more about Larry, and there's a lot that he's doing, global peace meditations and his Journeys for Conscious Living. You can go and find him in many ways. You can write to him at lcooper@meetingsandevents.com, or you can find him on Facebook, Journeys for Conscious Living. And I know that these different links have been put into the chat box by my partner, Deborah, so thank you. We had scheduled Larry to be on the show several weeks ago because we kind of book our shows more and more in advance these days. And after we had already scheduled him, we discovered that something very dramatic had happened to him. And so I want to just take all of you on a little journey right now. And give me a minute just to get the right screen share up. Here we go. So I'm going to show you some photos. And this is of a beautiful property that Larry and his neighbors have up in Colorado. It's the snow scene of it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful cabin. And this is what it looks like now. Yep. The Colorado fires hit Larry in a very hard way, and his family. And I'm also going to bring up on camera his neighbor, Sean, who is blessed to be with us. There's Sean. And I'm also going to show briefly a video. This is a video that, imagine that beautiful property you just saw, the snow scene and the cabin. But this is what it looks like now, this little video that I'm about to share. Just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Oh, and you know what? I clicked the wrong thing, so I'm going to start again. I do apologize. But I really want, as I show this, I really want for those of you at home, those of us watching, imagine what it's like when your home goes from a beautiful home to looking like this. And let's try that again. So Sean, Larry, and now your wife has joined us. Thank you so much. And yes, of course, for everybody watching, this is the moment where we really want to ask you to contribute to our GoFundMe. All money that comes into us tonight are going to go to Larry, his wife, Sean, and their neighbors to help them.
Right.
And so please be generous. And Sean, if you could unmute yourself, because we're going to want to talk to you for a minute. But Larry, you know, you've been such a great sport still being on our show, but what's it been like? Tell me.
You know, the fires were so far away from our house. And within just a couple of hours, the winds picked up, and the winds were up to 90 miles an hour. And it blew the fire right into our little area. We're right up against Rocky Mountain National Park. And people had so little time to escape. Many of our neighbors lost everything. We had a beautiful home there, but it was our second home. And my neighbor, Sean, who I've known maybe 35 years, she lost everything in the fire, as well as neighbor Tom. And nonetheless, it was devastating. We still haven't gotten in to see the houses. What? I will. Did we lose Sean?
No, I'm here.
She's here. I just put the pin on you while you were talking.
Okay. Yeah, so Sean was one of the last people to leave, and maybe she can describe to you what was happening at those last minutes before the fire came in.
Oh boy.
Thank you so much for doing this, Sean.
So it was about 3 o'clock, and my sister happened to be there because I had just remodeled my Airbnb cabin, and we were gonna finish it up, and had bought all the supplies to paint, and I happened to have my wood splitter there, and he was out splitting wood, and he came and grabbed me, and he says, I was in the house, and he said, Sean, you've got to come now. And he drags me out there, and he says, I see that fire. It's coming over the ridge. And I was like, I don't see the fire. And he's like, I'm telling you, Sean, Get your trailer, you gotta go now, go hook it up. And so had I been by myself, I wouldn't have gotten my animals out of there because I had a bumper hitch and I wouldn't have been able to hitch the trailer up myself. So they helped me hitch it up, and then it took us a couple hours to get my animals in the trailer. We had to drag one of my alpacas. She would not walk. So we drag, she's 250 pounds or something, and we're dragging her, and we drag her into the trailer, and we take off, and we head down Highway 34, and it was dark. It was just the lighting, and you could see the fires burning. And so we left the trailer, and my guy stayed there with my animals, and then we raced back to the house. And I had 2 pickups, and I didn't have much room. And so we just started taking, all I got was like a few photo albums of my child and my small animals, my dogs. I had 2 dogs and 2 cats, and I nearly have to leave the one cat. We couldn't catch her. Finally caught her, and then, oh boy.
I think you left everything else behind though, so.
Yes, it breaks my heart. I had all my childhood memories, all my husband, the Sun Valley Guest Ranch. Ken bought the ranch in 1964, and it had all the documented ranch history. I left it, and I left all of our history and his history and my child's history. And it's been my life since, I started coming to the ranch at 12 years old. And then Ken was 34 years older than me. So he passed away in 2014. He was 72 when we had a child. So it was rough when he passed away, and I had to save the place then. And I was really happy. And
So Sean left, and she didn't have any clothes. She didn't even have a hairbrush. She had so little time to get out of there the second time. And so other neighbors experienced the same kind of thing, with trees falling around them, the trees igniting and exploding around them. And very sad time, obviously, but
This is why we really need everybody. Please be generous. If you go to GoFundMe and just type in Global Peace Tribe, and you'll immediately find us. Also, Deborah has made it easy. She's put the links in the chat box here for the Zoom Room friends, and in the chat box for Unify Facebook, and the chat box for Love Coach Academy Facebook. And again, remember that it's just impossible for us to imagine what it's like to have your home go from this, from a beautiful home into just devastation like this. So please, please be generous, please. And Sean, this show is an inspirational show, and part of humanity is when someone has gone through a loss like you and Larry have gone through, and all your neighbors have gone through. This is where we open our hearts and we contribute. And I really want to thank everyone who's contributing. And I will read the donors. Those of you who watch our show know that we've raised over $50,000 since we started doing this show for people in need and nonprofits. And those of you who donate, I will read your names throughout the show tonight. And if you don't want your name, right, you can just put in anonymous when you donate. And it's beautiful how our community comes together. We had John Gray on the show a few weeks ago, and he donated $1,000. So it's beautiful. It's not just the people who are at home who donate, but sometimes our presenters donate as well. And whether it's $5, $50, any donation is appreciated. So again, you just go to GoFundMe, type in Global Peace Tribe, or use the link that Deborah has shared with you. And I'm just really, really grateful for our amazing community. We have an amazing, amazing community. So thank you. And I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Deborah, to
Thank
take
you
it
so
away.
much.
Thank you. And we'll drop back in with you a little bit later, Larry.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone for your donations. It really makes a big difference, whether it's $5, $500. We get all those donations and then all that love. And then we can really, this is a power of community where we can send that back out to create healing and hope for a lot of people that are going through hard times right now. So thank you so much. Just keep pinging that green love in all during the show. And now we're going to bring in some magic, because we do this on our shows every time, magic and entertainment, because it's Saturday Night Alive. We also want to have fun, and it's Halloween. And this is a very special magician who's coming from England right now. Miss Sylvia Skeptor is a time-traveling magician who invites you into her world of illusion and theater magic. And her world is inspired by all things Gothic and Victorian. Her magic is unique, and she will have you laughing and shivering in equal measure. So Sylvia, so great to have you coming all the way from England now to share with our worldwide audience.
Thank you, Deborah. It is absolutely wonderful to be here and to be part of this absolutely amazing community. I'm having a really good time just listening to everybody's stories and sharing this time with you. So what I'm going to do now is take you back to the darker times of the Middle Ages, when people believed the Bible that said, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." For between 1400 to 1780, between roughly 40 to 65,000 people were killed for the crime of witchcraft. And tonight I am going to honor their memories by performing a piece of magic for them. So to that end, the Jack of Diamonds will represent a highly confused and terrified member of the community who has been accused falsely of witchcraft. The 10 of Diamonds will represent a highly efficient instrument of medieval torture. I shall play the part of Heinrich Kramer, author of the handbook on how to hunt and catch witches and what to deal with them when they were caught. And he wrote a book called the Malleus Maleficarum, better known as the Hammer of Witches. The interrogation begins. The device. The device is prepared behind the victim's back so as to induce a sense of witchless anxiety. The interrogation begins. Do you confess that Beelzebub, Lord of Flies, exists within you? Silence. Well, maybe this will make you speak. Alas, the victim will not speak because the victim has nothing to confess. At this point, you might think that Heinrich places the victim into the device. No. Heinrich prefers to place the device into the victim and then push it against the victim's very spine. Much more painful. On most days, Heinrich can make the victim turn around. But on really good days, Heinrich can make the victim turn inside out. Not only that, he can make the victim turn outside in. Not only that, he can get the victim so terrified and so confused they actually face half one way and half the other. A quick snap of the spine. And this is Heinrich's favorite part because you can actually hear the bones breaking. Look, says Heinrich, the victim is beside itself. Heinrich had a terrible sense of humor. But see, half the victim faces one way and half the victim faces the other. And you can only get them to face the same way if you twist the head round 180 degrees. And that is how they dealt with witches in the Middle Ages. Thankfully, things have moved on since then, and people often ask me, did people that were practicing witchcraft, as in ritual magic, did they ever actually perform magic tricks? Well, let me tell you about this lady. There was a lady in Cologne. Let's just say that she was a little bit of a tearaway, for she liked to drink. She also swore, and she wore men's clothing. All of this was heresy and punishable by death in the Middle Ages. She also believed that she was the reincarnation of Joan of Arc, and she performed this magic trick with a magic wand. Abracadabra, I speak as I create. I like to think that she performed this magic trick as a metaphor to show that Joan of Arc's spirit of independence lived on in her. Of course, she was only performing magic tricks. Or was she? Good news. This lady from Cologne escaped. But sadly, there were many people, men and women like her, that didn't escape the fires of destruction, which I will very cheerily represent for you now. I just need to find my lighter. And for the sin of performing magic. Witchcraft turned whole families and communities upside down. Yet I believe that if we continue to tell their tales, their spirit lives on forever. Blessed be. Thank you for letting me share my magic with you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful and sad. You know, I have to say there's like a sadness, you know, to that. And I really appreciate your helping people to remember. And I do want to, although you're going to come back one more time tonight, I do want people to know that they can learn more about you by going to sylviasceptre.com. SYLVIASCEPTRE.com. Wow, looks like some really fun, magical stuff happening there. So
thank you very much.
And thank you for staying up so late, coming to us all the way from England, where I think it's about 2 o'clock in the morning now, after 2 o'clock.
It is. I'm going to go get some more coffee now.
God bless
Thank
you.
for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to perform a little magic trick myself right now. I'm going to make some of our audience members appear. And the very first audience member I'm going to make appear is our wonderful sponsors from Light Touch. It's Jay Mayer. But wait, I'm also going to make appear his beloved friend and very special partner, Jan. There she is. So welcome Jay and Jan in costume. And thank you so much for all the wonderful ways that you support our show and are all dressed up in costume. And we're going to show a very special video because it's Jay and Jan that sponsor us through their company, Light Touch. And they worked quite a bit to put together a very special video just for tonight. And it's a nice introduction to the spirit of Light Touch. But it's of course got a All Hallows Eve honoring the ancestors theme. So here we go. Enjoy.
Thank you for blessing all souls. Thank you for blessing our ancestors. Thank you for blessing all saints and angels.
That was really, really fun. Great job, Jay and Jan. Great job. Really good. We're going to hear more from Light Touch. We're going to hear more from Jay and Jan later in the show. And we're also going to see some of the other people who have come in costume to our show tonight. And there is actually still room for me to highlight a couple more people. So if there are others in the audience that are in costume, send me a message and I will promote you to panelists because we do want to see some of our friends that are in costume. And now I'm really excited to give it back to Deborah, who's going to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Scott. So now we get to hear from a very special man who knows a lot about being on the other side. He has actually been struck by lightning twice, and he has the most complete near-death experience on record. But most of all, he has a huge heart. Dannion Brinkley is a 3-time international bestseller. He is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Saved by the Light and At Peace in the Light. And you'll see him at many of the Human Potential conferences. And he does a lot of personal work with all kinds of nonprofit organizations. And he's just a really super guy. We know why they brought him back so many times. So we're so happy to have Dannion Brinkley. Hello, Dannion. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, Deborah, and thank you for having me.
And what can you tell us about your journey on the other side and why you came back and what this evening's about?
Well, what this evening is about is everybody celebrating the fact that on a full moon on a Halloween, when death and departed loved ones and spirit and ghosts and hobgoblins and trick or treat and all those things come into play in a full moon. But first, I'd like to compliment what you and Scott have done and put together in this community and what you've done to create this place where people can come, open their hearts up, feel the safety of being with family and being with people who search for answers and who believe in the deep spiritual, mystical nature of each one of us. So what I come to say is this. Becoming 70 years old and going through one death experience and 3 near-death experiences, struck by lightning twice, open heart surgery, brain surgery, and open heart surgery, all the things, the combination of originally being struck by lightning, dead for 28 minutes, completely paralyzed for 6 days, partially paralyzed for 7 months. And it took me 2 years to learn to walk and feed myself. But what I discovered in that 28 minutes was that nobody ever dies. It is a ridiculous concept to believe that you die. Why? You are a spiritual being more than you are a physical being. And let me show you why. The smallest known particle in physical matter is called a Planck sphere, a very orderly subatomic particle. And when you look at physical reality, everybody, the basic thing that we normally deal with is an atom, physical. Well, if you look at an atom under an electron microscope, it's 99.99996% empty space. And then if you look at the next component of physical matter in your body, it's called a molecule. And a molecule is made up of atoms. But if you take a molecule and you put it under an electron microscope, it's 99.99998% empty space. And then the next component in your physical body is a cell, which is made up of atoms and molecules to form cells. If you put a cell under an electron microscope, it's 99.99999% empty space. So in that empty space, which is what the Higgs boson particle proved to us in CERN, is your spiritual self, the true spiritual identity vibrating in an harmonic resonance in this plane, not in some far distant plane, not in some place called heaven, but here. And if you take 99.99999% of every cell in your body, then where are you really if you are not here? That's the question about tonight. You will never die. Never. It is impossible for a spiritual being to conceive of dying. It's insane. As to people that you want to connect to on the other side, they're always right there. It's just learning how to find that calm level of peace like Larry was describing, and finding things that symbolize who they are, but in laughter. Watch this, everybody. You will see your entire life pass before you in a 360-degree panorama as you make that transition. You will watch yourself from a second-person point of view as if you were your own best friend. And then you will literally become every person that you've ever encountered. And you will feel the direct results of your interaction between you and that person. This will happen, and then there'll be a question. If God couldn't come today and God sent you in the life you just reviewed, what difference did you and God make? Now, when you take that tonight in Hail All Saints Eve and a full moon, and you ask yourself that question, you begin to expand into the magnificent realms of a spiritual being, not some poor, lonely, depressed, suffering victim. A spiritual being has no capability of seeing itself as a victim. It is impossible to be a divine being so connected to this universe and a part of a divine flowing power that we call God or the divine or the intelligent divine power. How can you see that? So whatever has happened, you have to start right here tonight. You are a great, powerful, and mighty spiritual being, earned dimensions with dignity, direction, and purpose. The only thing that can ever go wrong in your life is you allow something to affect your dignity, which skews your direction and your purpose. This is the law, everybody. This is not maybe. This is not theoretical. This is it. This is how it works. How do I know? I've been dead so many times, it's ridiculous to think about it. But I can keep getting up from the dead. Why? It's about intention. Because when God said, or that divine force said, if God could not come today, or whatever you believe is the divine force, and they sent you, then what difference did you and the divine make? I became a hospice volunteer because as I looked at what difference I could make being the meanest SOB, the biggest asshole you ever came in, big, bully, tough guy, the greatest thing I could do is be at the bedside of people going from this world to the next world, being afraid of all that garbage that religions and institutions and governments had taught them. I've been a hospice volunteer for 42 years. I've been at the bedside of more than 2,010 people going from this world to the next. 34,000 hours at the bedside, and I've been with 346 people taking their last breath. So I got a grip on death on this side, on going there, on being over there, and coming back. So tonight, you must start by locking in the fact that you will not die. And everyone you've ever loved and who's ever loved you did not die either. So the most important thing that you take into your mind, heart, and soul tonight is, why do you want to contact someone who made it home? It is your intention, everybody. It's why you do what you do, not what you do. These are the laws. And once you put those laws in as the reality that you will not die and that you're a divine and powerful spiritual being. So what I'm going to close with is this. Yeah, for everybody out there on this full moon, I have my fire log burning. I've set my candles and lit them. I put out my little altar so that I can stay focused in the divine things around me. You being a part of this show, everybody, it means that all of us collectively together are spiritually focusing in the divine nature of each other's love. So remember, it's always why, what your intention is, more than what it is. And pay attention to this. As a spiritual being, I'm going to give you the meaning of life on this Hail All Saints Eve. Here's the meaning of life. You were chosen to come here. And once you were chosen, because there is nobody better than you to take on the 8 densities that becomes a physical being, to conceive as a physical being, even to feel pain and to feel emotional and stress, and still be chosen by the divine to be you. And then you pick consequences for which you come, and you look at opportunities to overcome. But watch this. If you wrote down on a piece of paper everything that you hold or believe that God is, or the divine is, or the mother goddess, or whatever you want to call that divine essence, and you wrote it down: compassionate, loving, caring, hopeful, protective. And then you turn around and think, how many times per day do you get a chance to be one of those things? All day, every day. So the meaning of life is to practice being a God in the midst of appearing to be physical. Now that's the law, everybody. That's not maybe. None of that. This is how it works. And once you put this into your thinking processes, you begin to expand. You begin to perceive things. You begin to know things in a higher level. And you sense the value of yourself as a spiritual being. practicing being a God, which could only have been an earned right. You would have earned a right to be here. So practicing being a God from this night on is the key to accessing levels of consciousness, moving through dimensional realities, and really taking a hold of who you are. And what I'd like to do is this too. I want everybody to stop for a couple of seconds and pay attention to your breathing. Breathe deep. Pull in the life force. Pull in the love. The same as that we're sending and protecting the people in Colorado in the fires. But you got to donate the power of your breath and the power of your love and the power of your heart as you breathe in. And when you breathe out, send safety and protection to those people, because you can never replace that physical crap that's gone. But you can empower them with the love to start over and to begin again and to recreate a new world as a divine spiritual being, because all of us this night have chosen to do this on Hail All Saints Eve. So we're all saints. On a full moon in 2020, when the world is changing. And the last thing to find out how really funny I am is get you a copy of Saved by the Light, a book I wrote 25 years ago. And I put in that book a vision I had in 1975. The battle for the souls of humankind would be fought in healthcare. I've been saying that, as Scott can tell you and Deborah can tell you, I've been saying that for 45 years. Well, we are there. So if you get saved by the light, go to chapter 5 and read box 12. And I will have described exactly where we are today. I even use the terms the virus, the vaccination, the so-called 060606 patent, all of this. It's in play today. So that means that tonight we're all on time. We're right where we're supposed to do. Focus on what we're supposed to be focused on, being who the hell we are as great, powerful, and mighty spiritual beings, practicing being a God together. So once again, I'm very proud, Deborah, of you and Scott and everybody that's on the air. I love you with all my heart. I appreciate each of you. And I thank you for these few moments I get a chance to celebrate in the joy of what you guys are creating.
Daniel, before you go, 2 stories. One is earlier, somebody wrote in the chat box that many, many years ago, she was at a bookstore and a book fell and hit her in the head. And she put it back and it fell a second time and hit her in the head. There's a book called Saved by the Light by Daniel Brinkley. And she put that in the chat box. If she comes back, you can put your name in the chat box again. And I also want to share.
But Scott, it becomes imperative. There are 12 boxes that I wrote down about it. And if you look at the history, I missed the timing on some things because life is probable possibilities. Everything has probable possibilities of occurring and has a limited number of probable possibilities. Okay, so I missed some of the timing, but we sit at a precipice if we don't pull our love together. Not all the power and might, burning and robbing and all that, but coming together on a Saturday night on a sacred time where it's trick or treat and it's all those stories of the celebrations of the saints and the witches and all those things that brought us to the spiritual consciousness that we are, and put our love and our breath at work, that we breathe deep, that we hold that divine power, and then we let it go. And my last thing to tell everybody, nothing happens until the space between when you breathe in, you stop, and then you breathe out. When you fill those 8 sinus cavities, all those 8 sinus cavities, you breathe in all the divineness and everything there is, then it stops. You set an intention and the divine sets an intention along with you, and you breathe out and take action. So for the rest of this evening, be so spiritually conscious of you breathing in and breathing out, and go get saved by the light and read chapter 5, box 12, and you will see how much fun is up next.
Thank you, Daniel. You know, I've known Daniel for a very long time. I first worked with him on a show called The Other Side back in 1994. But several years later, I did a story about him and his work in hospice. And so I went with my camera crew to the Long Beach VA hospital. And it was the ward of people dying. And there was a young man dying, young, probably in his early 30s, I'm guessing. And he was terrified of death. And we did a little pre-interview with him, and he was like, I don't want to die because when you die, it's all over. And I don't want to be all over. And Daniel came and he chatted with this young man for a little bit. And then Daniel said, can I just hold you and give you a hug and maybe show you what might happen? And this guy was kind of scared, but he said, well, okay. And Daniel hugs him. And that hug lasted a long time. I don't know, 20, 25 minutes. And the camera is rolling this whole time, you know. Finally, Daniel pulls back and this young man, tears are going down his face. He says, oh my God, I'm not afraid to die anymore. It's beautiful. There is a heaven. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And we captured all that on film and broadcast it. And I will remember that for the rest of my life.
Scott?
Yes, Daniel. Yeah.
It's called the synchronistic breathing technique. It's an advanced version of what I just said. I have no problems with heaven, you know, and I'd like to tell everybody one other thing. Nobody's going to hell, because if I didn't go to hell, you don't even have a chance at it. Okay, you can forget it. You got no chance. I was an asshole. Okay, so nobody's going to hell. That's a ridiculous thought too, unless you truly decide to. Because I had a lady in the audience one time. She says, Daniel, you know, she says, you know, you have an attitude problem. And she said, what about hell? What about hell? And I said, honey, they didn't bring it up, and I damn sure didn't bring it up. But if you want to know about hell, as soon as you get down the end of the tunnel and you see that being that comes to meet you, you start asking them, where is hell? And I'm sure somebody over there will accommodate you. But you have to remember, all that stuff is crazy. But listen, everybody, you're only a breath away. You come here and take a breath, and when you leave, you let a breath out. And if you place a deep spiritual value on your breath, you begin to control the reality that functions around you. And how can I say that? I have 4 times raised myself from the dead. And I'm talking about with no chance to live. And the last time I did that was 2 years ago, 4 days ago. 2 years ago. And I've gotten back up again, all because I pay attention to my breath. And I pay attention to the value of the divinity that flows through each and every one of us. So in the synchronistic breathing technique, it is so easy to hold someone, set the intention, and as they breathe in, you breathe out. And as they breathe out, you breathe in, and you set up a pattern of the figure 8 between them. And then you can pull them into your world. You know, so you have to make sure that your world is pure and focused, and your intentions, your balancing is right, you're working in the right frequency, your toning is perfect, and you can pull them in through you into the divine space. And that's what I did. And that was in the AIDS ward. Remember, in those days,
Yeah.
everybody was so terrified of AIDS. Well, I don't care. I'm going to hold them, and I'm going to sneak them in a brownie, and I'm going to call their mothers, and I'm going to call their fathers, and I'm going to cuss them out for not coming to see them. And, you know, I got thrown out of a lot of places doing that. But
I won't tell those
well,
stories. I could tell
I
those
say-
stories, but
I was like, well, wait a minute. What are they
no,
going
I
to do?
won't.
said,
I won't.
I
I
said,
won't.
well, what are they going to do? Kill me? That's a joke. So everybody, please, the rest of this night, breathe deep. Empower yourself. And when you breathe out, send love to everybody else that's in this group. And then in turn, skip a beat and send love to everyone they know. This is the power of who we are. Breathe for those together as us as a family. They will feel you and you will feel them. skip a beat, and then breathe for those that they know and love. When you have the panoramic life review, everybody, you will know I was right. So why wait till then? Capitalize. I love everybody, and I thank you, Deborah and Scott and everybody. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Daniel. We love you so much. We know you'll be back one way or the other. You know, I knew that after having Daniel, we were going to have something pretty special. And a wonderful voice has emerged. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to Ray Jupiter. You're going to see her tonight twice. She's going to do a song for us now and then a beautiful video that she's a big part of. And Ray is an international singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, also an actress. She was the very first international artist to play for Iceland's Independence Day. She's a wonderful vocal coach, and she's the recipient of the Global Peace Song Award called Sanctuary. You can find her on her website, which we'll show, and Deborah will be putting in the chat box. And Sanctuary was inspired by the heroes who are fighting to end human trafficking. Finally, she's the co-creator of a new TV dramedy series that's in pre-production called Teaching Harmony. So it's my pleasure, after the dynamic evangelical Daniel, to turn it over to Ray Jupiter.
Thank you so much, Scott, for the introduction and for having me on your show, and Deborah and everyone who produces this. I just thank you so much, Daniel. Wow, I needed that. I needed that as a grounding and just a reminder of the power and the divinity of the breath. And I'm holding that space, and I just thank you with gratitude. I really needed that so much. And I want to share. I wrote this a while ago when I had my own experience with loss from someone very, very close to me. It was more like a sibling, was my dear cousin Vanessa. And this is a bridge about trying to communicate to the other side and keeping loved ones that they're only just a breath away. They're literally just on that thin veil. They're really there with us no matter what.
Ray, your volume's a little low. So we're having a little trouble hearing you when you're speaking.
Okay.
Keyboard sounds fine, but your voice is a little low.
Okay, tell me if you hear me. Do you hear me now?
It's a little better. Speak.
Hello? Hello, hello?
Yeah, I think that's the better.
Okay, all right. Now the keyboard. One moment, please. I'm going to turn that down.
It's always a challenge finding that balance, so thank you so much. Maybe if you put the microphone directed a little bit more towards your mouth, that might help.
How is this right here?
Can't hear your voice hardly at all now.
Well, I'm going to try to just...
Now we can't hear your voice.
I'm unsure as to why.
Can't hear you at all. We hear the keyboard when you hit it, but not your voice at all. Thank you, everybody, for waiting. This is a chance for everybody while she does this, and I'm going to give her a moment to do that. I just want to remind everybody, this is a good time for you to donate. We'll come back to Ray in just a moment. And I also want to acknowledge some of the wonderful people from our audience. This is Noelle.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Noelle, are you enjoying the show?
This
Oh,
is
we're
a
hearing you,
wonderful
Ray.
show, such a treat. I can't think of a better way to spend Hallows Eve than with all of you tonight and our beautiful guest speakers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you're wearing an authentic mask from Venice Carnival.
I am a Venice dancer tonight, a Venetian dancer.
Beautiful. We'll come back to you in a little bit. I think Ray's ready.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I've got it here.
You sound great now.
Okay. So yes, this was a song I wrote for one of my dear family members who passed away some years ago, and it's just about reaching out. That she visited me in a dream just to remind me, and she said, I think Meld, when she was commenting earlier about we ask our loved ones who've passed away for sending a sign, sending a symbol, and they really are there. And it was a beautiful, just, there was a hummingbird, or her name meant butterfly. And I had an unusual year of just butterflies landing on me throughout. It was really emotional. I would just started greeting her. And it's such a sweet reminder. It just, you know, life does go on, and it is just so much bigger than sometimes when we feel like as a world is so much smaller. But just love, so much love. This is called This Side of Heaven. Brilliant light, a million stars, like a child I reach for heaven's door. I know you're there, oh, somewhere out there. Worlds apart, feel my heart cry out. This waiting seems to last forever. The faith I have makes it better, knowing you will come to take me home. I'm waiting on this side of heaven, living life the best I can, waiting on this side of heaven until I'm with you again. Imagining the feel of your touch, perfect love guiding me to the unknown. No more fear, oh, no more tears. Sweet release, freedom fills my soul. This waiting seems to last forever, but the faith I have makes it better, knowing you will come to take me home. I'm waiting on the side of heaven, living life the best I can, waiting on this side of heaven until I'm with you again. This waiting seems to last forever, but the faith I have makes it better, knowing you will come to take me home. I'm waiting on this side of heaven, living life the best I can, waiting on this side of heaven until I'm with you again, knowing I don't have all of the answers, needing grace day by day, knowing you'll come back someday for me. Until that day, oh, until that day, until that day, we'll meet again.
Oh, Ray, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really, really beautiful. Was there an inspiration behind that song?
My cousin Vanessa, who passed away, and I was just, my soul was crying out for a connection. And shortly after I wrote this, I just held all these beautiful messages. I was having butterflies, and she visited me through the veil in a dream. Actually, it was the night before her birthday, and I didn't even know when I woke up. It dawned on me. It's just like, oh, she's so, just all the little signs. It was so beautiful. It was because it was my way of trying to reach out and connect was through with my music. And yeah, it was pretty special.
Thank you. We're going to hear more from Ray, but I want to let everybody know that you can find out all about her by going to her website. Very easy to remember, rayjupiter.com. rayjupiter.com, RAYJUPITER.com. And she's going to come back. We've got a beautiful video, and we're going to hear a little bit more from her later on in the show. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Wow. So this is the time of the show when we want to give thanks because there's a lot that it takes for a show like this to happen. And we really appreciate those of you that are watching through all of our different broadcast partners. And we have a lot of broadcast partners, and it keeps growing. Of course, probably the largest right now is Unify. And it's really fun. Unify carries us now every Saturday night. You can watch us on Unify. I also really want to thank our friends at the Sign Network, John and Summer Raymer. They share us out to anywhere from 50 to 75 groups. Awake TV Network, and Jay and Jan and Light Touch. We're going to hear more from Light Touch in a little bit. Hey, Alan Steinfeld. He's got us on his New Realities YouTube channel. My company, Love Coach Academy, we have several different groups and pages that, and we originate this show. Earth Dance Global, you're going to hear all about them from Deborah in a moment. They're putting on a big global dance party, which you're all invited to. Deborah's going to tell you about that a little bit later in the show. Our Friends of Humanities team, Portal to Ascension, Disclosure Festival, Global Days of Unity, and Earthwalk. These are all broadcast partners. And if you're watching out on Facebook or on any of these broadcast partners, there's still time for you to come on into our Zoom room. Especially if you're in costume, you got to come into our Zoom room because we'll promote you up to panelist because we're going to be showing kind of an online costume party. And just a reminder for everybody to mute themselves because somebody's not muted right now. I think it might be. I'm going to gallery to see who it is.
I put this around your head.
Wait.
I got too warm.
Okay.
I know. Should I put it around your head just for the picture?
Somebody needs to mute themselves. Whoever it was, please mute because I don't want to share. I'm talking about important stuff right now. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So if you're watching on any of our other broadcast partners, you can still come into our Zoom room. And if you're in costume, let me know and I'll promote you to panelists because we're going to take a look at all of our friends that are in costume that want to be seen. Also, by coming in on the Zoom room, you can chat with us. And tonight, when we've got Mark Anthony doing spirit readings, he might just call in an ancestor or beloved of yours. Now, you don't want to be able to be in the chat room, so I can promote you to panelist and you can interact with your ancestors. So go to globalpeacetribe.com, go to globalpeacetribe.com and register, come on into our Zoom room. And there's a lot of other good things that happen when you do that. You get the emails, you'll learn about how to get the replays. Well, you become part of our community. That's what we are. I'm going to remember what Daniel said. I'm going to take a breath. We are the Global Peace Tribe. And every one of you is important. You know, some of us get to come on and talk and speak and play music. But every one of you, if you hear my voice right now, you are just as important. And we're all finding each other right now. We're the butterfly cells, we're the imaginal cells, finding each other and creating community so that we can create the new world. And our show and many other events that we promote are all about that. So come and join us. And by having your email address, we can let you know what we're doing. And you can also find out about some of the other things that are going on. So please, please join us. I also want to thank our donors. So this is where I kind of come on and thank those people who have donated tonight. A lot of people donated that were anonymous. So I want to acknowledge all of you, first of all. Hyla Cass, dear friend, thank you. Noelle, our friend who is with us right now. We just saw her a minute ago. Iona Marshall. Susie Karasik is with us. I'm going to spotlight her. She's in costume. Marlene, Christopher Bush, My Home. That's kind of a nice way of putting it. Machanel Galt, Tisha, oh my gosh, Tisha, that's a very generous donation. Thank you. Carrie Brenner, many anonymous people. Amy, God bless you. Jay Mayer's done it again. Jay with a very, very generous donation. Thank you, Jay. Hey, Pollyanna Bush, who has been playing music, she donated. God bless you, Pollyanna. More anonymous people. This next one, please, I'll try and pronounce it correctly. Kadish Mitchell Poka. More anonymous. Elizabeth Arnold, John McCabe, Deborah Haviland. Thank you, Deborah. And I will bring you back on. Veronica Johnson, Gabrielle Lamond, Michelle Heron, Anonymous, Kim Stasiak, Scotty Satori, Samantha Leidner, Larry Fay, April Gieselin, Karen Eisenberg, Philomena, Anonymous, Marjorie Biller, Brigitte Weiss. Brigitte, she was on our show last night. Thank you very much, Brigitte. Very generous. Thank you so much. More anonymous, and there you have it. I will read our donors one more time tonight, but now I get to turn it over to my partner, Deborah, because she's got some really fun stuff to share as well.
Thank you, Scott. And I also want to personally thank everyone who has donated to our fire victims now and in the past. It makes such a big difference. And thank all of you that have donated when you register, because that allows us to create a really wonderful show for you each week. And thank you to our sponsors, especially Jay Mayer, who has been a consistent sponsor and has really helped this show to continue. And because of all your support, we have created 8 more shows for the season. Next week is on November 7th is going to be really incredible. It's going to be post-election recovery, unifying with compassion and solutions. So this is going to be a time that's really important because some people are going to be happy, some people aren't, but this polarization has to stop. We have to come together and really work together with solutions. So we have some great presenters and musicians that are going to forward that. We have Marion Williamson, who's going to be with us and lead us in prayer and really bring us together. We have Foster Gamble of Thrive Movies, who is totally working on the solutions that can help transform the world. We have Charles Eisenstein, incredible philosopher and truth teller, of bringing us together. We have Justin DeCamps, we have Lori Ladd, who's a spiritual teacher, and we have some great musician, Kali's Angels, we have Fantuzzi, and we have another magician, illusionist, Paul Draper. And then on November 14th, another really incredible show honoring the wisdom of the indigenous. And this again is being sponsored and being called forth by Jay Mayer. It's his special show that he has asked us to produce, and him and Jan are helping us with it. We're going to feature Chase Iron Eyes, who was instrumental in Standing Rock, Ukwala, Kevin Locke, Patricio Domingo, musician, prominent Native American musician Joanne Shenandoah, Sister Stone. So we're going to have incredible indigenous elders, and hopefully we're going to have the Koji there from Peru, who are going to tell us and inform us on what's going on with this world and what their incredible wisdom is that they can share with us. November 21st is going to be Reimagine. We are co-collaborating with Global Coherence Pulse. November 28th, Creating Community, Thanksgiving, the community in our hearts, and creating intentional communities that we can all live together in. December 5th, Secret Ancient History. Our soul sister and core partner, Chareya, is going to be creating that. December 12th, Relationship Mastery, a very important topic. December 19th, Winter Solstice Activation. We'll have a lot of prominent spiritual teachers and leaders where we can do deep activation for the winter solstice and for the new year. And December 26th, we're going to have special moments of Saturday Night Alive, where we're going to bring back through this whole year the special presenters and musicians and everything that made every night so incredibly special. So we hope you can join us through all of that. And they're always on the replays. And when you register, you will always get all the replays. And so, Scott, I think it's one more time to acknowledge our GoFundMe. and how people can donate. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. And we're going to take a minute. I just want to honor some of the people that are in costume, some of our friends. So Casey, I'm going to put the spotlight on you. And there you are. Hi, Casey. What a headdress. What is the story on the headdress? Oh, you got to unmute. So just a reminder, I'll bring a couple of people on. Kathy Robertson, I'm going to bring you on. And Andrew and Connie, I'm going to bring you on. So Andrew and Connie, come on down. And just like 1 minute each. Oh my God, we got a little one. It's Andrew, Connie, and a little gremlin. You've been joined by a little gremlin, I think there. Yeah, a little precious being. So everybody remember to unmute yourself because I'm going to give you like 30 to 45 seconds just to share something. Casey, what do you want to share? What have you enjoyed about tonight's show?
Okay, well, I especially enjoyed Daniel and his presentation because every time I hear him speak, there's always something new. There's some new revelation. There's some new layer that comes to light for me, and it's really delightful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being with us, Casey. And I love that golden lotus behind you. That's beautiful and great headdress. Thanks. Now, it looks like Kathy Robertson, I don't know if that's her deceased husband that she's holding. You know, I know that Roy Rogers had Trigger stuffed, but I don't know, that skull looks a little small for your ex.
Actually, I'm a California psychic, and this is my muse.
Oh, fantastic. And what does the muse have to say about tonight?
Oh, the muse just loves everything. This is only my second time to be here, but both nights that I've been here has just been so beautiful and so awesome and just uplifting. I get happy and I stay that way for several days afterwards. It's just, I really, really enjoy it so much. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. And my muse is saying hi. Thank you also.
Hello to the muse. I'll send my magic wand blessings to you both. And finally, Connie and Andrew and that beautiful little being with you. If you can unmute yourselves, love to hear what you have to say. You got to unmute.
Hey,
Yes.
this is here, Logan, and this is my granddaughter, Logan.
Yeah,
Wow. Hey, Logan, happy Halloween.
that's Scott. Yeah, you should have seen her earlier. She was amazing.
She was a fallen
A
angel.
fallen angel. She was
Angel.
all in black. Whoa.
Oh. But
Well,
we love the show, and we love Larry, and we love Daniel. Oh, wow, everything is great. And we love your outfit there, Scott. You are it, man.
Got it, huh? Well, we love you guys. I know that you are big members of our community. Everybody is a member of our community. Some we've known for a long time, and some we're meeting for the first time tonight. So thank you, everybody. And
I want to get a
we'll
shot.
meet some more of our friends that are in costume. And a reminder to please mute yourselves. And I'm going to turn it over to Deborah, who's got our next introduction. Deborah, you muted.
Thank you, Scott. And so now we get to hear another song with Pollyanna Bush. And if you heard her at the beginning, you can tell how special she is. She is a professional artist, teacher, coach, and sings from the heart. We love her every time she comes on. And so now we can get another song from Pollyanna Bush.
Thank you so much. And I heard my brother, Christopher, that was my brother, Christopher Bush. He was one of the donators. So, hi, Christopher. That's fun. Wow, what a beautiful, magical night this has been and is. And I have my beautiful, magical, incredible, well, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're a wizard. That's what I think. Charles Moselle is a wizard for sure. This next song that we're going to play, it's a song called Walk Into Your Future. And it was inspired by Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, which is right in alignment with what we're talking about today in terms of connecting and being in the divine and being in creation, and that we are so much more than matter. Yeah, and that we don't die. He shares many stories of knowing, traveling to different dimensions and different times and different beings that he's been visiting with and visiting him, and doing incredible healing work and working in the quantum field work. So enjoy. We are the creators. We get to create. So when we want to create, so just invite you right now to take a breath, take that breath, like Daniel was saying. And what is the world that you want to live in right now? What is it that you want to create? What are you creating? You're so much more powerful than we were taught when we were little. And we are not victims. We really own our power and our beauty and our love.
Yeah, sometimes I think I
and connection.
hold it, you know, but
We can do anything. And we can create a world whole and healthy.
been so much work. Neil, Matt, here, Madonna. He was very cute then. Look how cute he was. He was younger. He was, but he's not that cute.
Join me in creating that tonight in this very magical night. You are magic.
He works for Habitat all the time. But you know, he's real thin now. When I met him, he had a huge gut. These are probably some people. And I bought him those shorts. He wears a t-shirt and jeans and shorts. That's all he ever wears. That's his anthem. He's so thin now. 90th birthday party. That's his dance.
Looks nice. Does he
Here's
ride?
somebody he's working with.
Is he a runner?
Dear
No,
one, you open your eyes, look out upon the world, see a new sunrise. Those thoughts pounding in your head.
Yeah, that's
Just a broken recording, time to think new thoughts instead. And the sound that you hear is your soul beckoning you to awaken from this dream. Drop the cloak from your past. Cross the river with me to a new destiny. Walk into your future. Your beautiful creation. Walk into your future.
We had a party. This is our clubhouse. Yeah. Here he is when he went to Jamaica. That's when he.
You open your eyes, you can be the hero of your own life. Who you are is beyond space and time. Luscious, beautiful, eternal, sublime. And the sound that you hear is your soul beckoning you to awaken from this dream. Drop the cloak from the past, cross the river with me to a new destiny. Walk into your future, your beautiful vision. Walk into your future.
Is your creation, is your beautiful, is your beautiful creation. It's our beautiful creation. Let's breathe in a beautiful creation, bring it to life. See it, feel it, let your heart open to it. Make it real right now in your heart. Feel the gratitude, deep, deep gratitude. Your future come alive. Your creation, our creation. Come alive.
Oh, Pollyanna, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll just keep saying thank you until you can hear me. There we go. There you are.
Hi.
God bless you.
Unplug so
Thank you both. That flute was so pretty. Just a perfect accompaniment. And again, a reminder, everybody, that she's got a great website and there's a lot going on with Pollyanna Bush. So go to www.pollyannabush.com. She's got that incredible course that's going to be starting soon. I've had the good pleasure to listen to so much of her music, and she's awesome. She's just awesome. So
Also, you can, if you want to hear that song, I recently released it on through DistroKid. You should be able to find it on Spotify and iTunes and things like that. So Walk Into Your Future is good to go. Download that. Thank you so much for having me, having both of us. It's been a total pleasure and honor as usual.
absolutely. We know you're going to be back soon. Definitely
Yep.
be back soon. Thank you.
Even if lightning strikes.
Yeah, especially.
Especially if lightning strikes.
I'm going to introduce you now to a longtime friend of mine. And he's actually somebody that I've worked with. I did a full day magical journey with him. And I'm talking about Greg Magic Bernstein. He's coming to us from Maui. But, also, gosh, tonight we're just experiencing so many of the elements of life, celebrating life, but also talking a lot about death. And as fate would have it, Magic's beloved, best feline friend, his cat for the last 14 years, is in her either final days or possibly final hours. And so I just want to take a moment for all of us to take that breath, as Daniel reminds us. As we take that breath, we celebrate the 14 years that Magic has shared with his beloved feline fur family member. And the knowledge that she'll always be living in his heart. And they'll be reunited on the other side when the time comes. But also recognizing the sadness, because it's really, really hard when we have to say goodbye to the physical body of a beloved cat or dog or human being. And Magic, I'm really appreciating that despite what you're going through, you chose to still be with us tonight. I'm going to, just read a little bit about Magic. As I said, I've studied with him. I have gone out I spent an entire day in Mount Shasta with him. And he just turned me on to so many aspects of life and the elements that it was really beautiful. And for over 25 years, Magic's been working with shaman, kahuna, sorcerers, and other master teachers. He's been training and learning how to effectuate change and awakening in others. And yes, he does do it in just a session or two. He is constantly learning and he's constantly sharing. He leads retreats in sacred places from Mount Shasta, that's where I did it with him, to Hawaii and other places. And he also is doing more and more work, like all of us, online. But most of all, Magic is all about unconditional love. And so in his work, he helps people in very tangible, practical ways to learn how to love the parts of themselves that perhaps they've been disconnected from or even had shame around. I've known this man for years. He transmits unconditional love. Don't let those horns fool you. He's a healer. He's a magician. He's my friend, Greg Magic Bernstein.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that sweet introduction. And I feel really blessed to be on the show tonight with my cat that I just found out this afternoon is dying, to be here with the topic of death. And I really appreciated Danian's talking about how we don't die. And, my experience is that we always have been, we always will be. We were never born and we will never die. We will never die. That's our divinity. But of course, at the same time, in our humanity, we do experience pain and loss. So it's been sweet to be here. And I was feeling that it might be, since the subject of tonight is connecting with the other realms, that I might talk a little bit about that, because I've had a lot of connections with the other realms. I've had a lot of experience with ghosts and loved ones, past pets, and demons and entities and all sorts of things that at one time in my past I have had experience with. And I've noticed in working with people and in myself in the past, there was a little part of me that was afraid. Many of us have had experiences in our childhood, in our youth, that might have been frightening, especially if our psychic senses are open. Perhaps we had an experience with an entity or a ghost and maybe it scared us. And so now, when it comes to perhaps connecting with those realms, that fear can stop us. And my path has been to unconditionally love everything and everyone in every moment all the time, which means every part of me, all my fears, all my doubts, anything I don't like, on the inside and on the outside. Doesn't mean I like it. It doesn't mean I condone it or I want it. Those are conditional forms of love. This is unconditional love, pure, undivided, unadulterated, undifferentiated love. And so once I was walking through a sacred site here on Maui, and this site amplifies our evolution and our process and our awakening. And as I was walking through, I came to this tree, and there was a hole in the tree, like a knot in the tree. And I was guided to stop and begin to gaze into this knot and just sort of open up my field and really just drop in and be. Sometimes when I do that, a tree will come alive. It will talk to me. I'll have a download. On this day, what happened was the hole in the tree turned into what I would call a demon. And as I looked at that demon, I thought to myself, what is the benefit of this that's happening for me? Because I live in a world where things are happening for my benefit. And I really got that it was an opportunity for me to love something that I had some fear about. And I've noticed that when I bring unconditional love to anything, that it either just meets the love that it is, or it returns something that's been distorted by separation and illusion back to the love that it is. So nothing can actually hurt me when I greet it with unconditional love. When I'm in that non-dual state of all that is, there actually is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong, there's only what is. And so when I can quicken myself to that frequency and vibration and then meet whatever form of separation I'm encountering with that, then it eventually empties, resolves, and dissolves, and I become more of what I actually already am. So I did that with this demon this day. I stared in the face of this demon, and I was quite scared. It brought up a lot of fear. I started shaking. I just kept focusing on loving it, loving what I was feeling, loving the sensations in my body, the fears, the doubts, everything that was coming up. And because I did that, I started to source the original wounds that had me afraid in the first place. I remembered being in the crib, and I was a young child, and a ghost came in the room, and I asked my parents to help, and they said, "There's nothing there, you imagined it." I remembered movies like Poltergeist and The Exorcist, and I appreciated what Sylvia mentioned earlier, because I remembered being burned as a witch, and that had frightened me to ever dive into these realms again. And so as long as all of that was living inside of me, then I had fear. And if I have fear, then actually those things could actually harm me. But in this moment, I just kept bringing love to all the experiences from this life, from other lives, feeling them inside the somatic experience of my body, and shaking and making sound and being with it as it released out of me. And as all those past experiences released and returned to peace and love, I got calmer and calmer and less afraid of the demon. And the demon has no power except the power I give it through my fear and through my divisiveness and through my separation. So as I loved it, all of that divisiveness and separation emptied, resolved, dissolved, and I was left with just love. And eventually I just felt love as I looked at this demon. I closed my eyes, which would have been very frightening 20 minutes before, to close my eyes in the face of this demon, but I closed my eyes and I just meditated for a few moments. I actually wasn't even there. I was just in the nothingness, in the peace of a non-dual state of having awakened out of that separation and fear. And then I opened my eyes again, and the demon was no longer a demon, and the shape of this hole in the tree was the shape of a heart. It was so beautiful. And this is the work I've done every time I've encountered anything that I'm frightened of in the other realms. And because of it, today for me, frightening things in the other realms don't exist anymore. Demons don't exist. Entities don't exist. Ghosts don't exist. I don't experience those things at all. I do check in with one of my beloved pets, and I do experience things in the psychic realms that are beautiful and loving and kind and in the realm of the infinite nature that I am. But other things I don't anymore. So I work with people to help them to realize this, and if they don't, to work with them at the level where they are so that they can deal with the fear that's present. So that's a little bit to share tonight about how to deal with what might come up if you're actually wanting to encounter your loved ones or open up your senses to the other side. If something comes up, just embrace it with unconditional love. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Magic. And it's such an important point that he's making. let's all be real with ourselves. Let's self-reflect to look at, okay, what fears do I have that stop me from opening up my imagination? And for more about magic, because this guy's up to a lot, I do want to let you know you can go to sacredvoyages.com, and Magic is doing free teleseminars and Facebook Lives first Tuesday of every month. And it's free. It's a shamanic transmission, catalyzing energy through sacred storytelling and ancient mystical teachings. So that's a pretty amazing thing that he's doing. And, you know, in this time of COVID, how about when do you think you'll be able to start doing sacred site events again, Magic? Any sense?
Yeah, you know, I had to cancel my last Mount Shasta retreat and my last Maui retreat. I've got one on the schedule for July for Shasta. It's a 7-day deep dive immersion shamanic retreat where we go to sacred sites which catalyze, amplify, and awaken all transformation and awakening. And then I have one on Maui in October, and we'll see. I mean, my hope is that we're resolved by then, but I don't know. I am doing custom retreats. I've always done them, and they had sort of stopped during COVID, but now people are allowed to come back to Maui again with a COVID test. And so I'm back doing the custom private retreats like the one that you and I did in Mount Shasta, which can be done for a day or a week with a friend or by yourself or a family or anything that you choose. And often I invite people to come to these retreats and bring the thing you've never been able to change, the thing you've never been able to actualize or shift. And it can be terminal disease. I mean, it is often huge things that people bring, and it typically shifts pretty quickly. And then we get on to what your soul is actually really there for. So, and just a quick correction, the Magic Talks that I do, which is an hour-long talk once a month, it's not the first Tuesday of the month, it's just a Tuesday. And we just announced it on the website, sacredvoyages.com. And there's all kinds of different topics. I sometimes talk about oneness, or facing the unknown, or loving the unlovable, or how to be an empath, or how to be in really, you know, really good relationships with other people and beloveds. Talk about death. And each talk is a shamanic transmission. So the frequency of what I'm talking about is being transmitted, and people often have life-changing occurrences just listening to the talk, and it's free.
Beautiful. Thank you, Magic.
Thank you, Scott.
Talk to you soon, brother. And
Thanks for all your love about my sweet Kiki. I'm really hoping to have some more time with her before she goes. So she's being treated right now with some stuff, and we're hoping that tomorrow, if that works, then I could get some more quality time with her before she goes. Thank you.
Before it goes, and I'll be thinking of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care, partner.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
So it's a powerful time. It's All Hallows Eve. It's Halloween. It's the full moon. Oh yeah, and there's an election coming up. And I think we probably all are feeling the energy around that. And once again, we're wanting to do our best to honor it. And I'm going to bring back Ray Jupiter, because she participated in a really lovely video. Deborah found it. In fact, this is how we found Ray. And so I'm going to play it for you right now. It's just beautiful. It's very inspiring. And then Ray's going to tell us just a little bit about it. Here we go.
Yo, listen, I finally see someone who looks like me, standing proud and strong on my TV, saying it's no mystery, we can change the course of history with our passion and integrity. Be assured, it's time for our voices to be heard.
Crushing fences, tearing down the walls. We are a chain of love that connects us all. Can you hear the call? The most beautiful sound of us. The most beautiful sound of us.
Yo, lifting up the veil, and revealing all the lies, as we dedicate this moment to exercise the power and privilege that every person has. Oh yeah. If we vote, then we won. And we're ready for the change that has begun. We're ready.
Crushing fences, tearing down the walls.
Tearing down the walls.
We're a chain of love that connects us all. Can you hear the call? The most beautiful sound of us. Most beautiful sound of us. Most beautiful sound of us. Most beautiful sound of us.
Our voices will be heard.
To my left, to my right, see the love in your heart. The beautiful sound of
Listen. Can you hear it? It's bigger than you or me. There's enough of us to make a difference. But we're nothing without you. You may feel like your voice is not important, but it's more important than ever. Without your voice, we're nothing. We need you. We need you. We need your voice. Our future, it needs us. You deserve this. We deserve a time for us to shine. A time to come together and unite. Our future is bright if we rise to the occasion for our generation and future generations and vote. Yes, not just you, not just me.
most beautiful sound.
Us.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. It's just so inspiring. And I know we don't have much time, but tell us a little bit, just how did that all come together?
Just two incredible other co-writers and a lot of love and light. And I want to celebrate with award-winning music producer Terry Wellman and writer Lillywet Fox. They are a really great team, and we just felt so much joy and love and compassion. We were just thinking about, what's a message that is so needed as a reminder in the world. And really, we passionately believe, just like every soul that's on this beautiful show, is every voice matters and every voice counts. And I think it's a message that transcends no matter what. There's so many, yes, for this election, absolutely. But it's a power that all of us have. And we just wanted to celebrate that in a song and to inspire people that you really do matter, every unique individual soul. So that's where that song came from.
Well, it's a beautiful success. And
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad because Deborah found the video and then we found you. And
Yeah,
thank you. And we hope you'll come back be on the show again soon sometime.
I would
All
love
right.
to. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. It's time for some more magic. Hello, Karina. Miss Sylvia.
Hello, I am here. I've got something a little bit more playful for you this time, which I think you'll enjoy. I hope you will.
We are excited and we appreciate that you're coming to us at about 3:00 in the morning or something in England.
Yes, it's 20 to 4 here, but it's absolutely my pleasure to be here. I'm really enjoying this evening. It's just absolutely wonderful. So it's great. So I'm full of energy for you. And I'm going to play
Fantastic.
some
Thank you.
music now and take it away.
Wow.
There you are, Dolly. All back together again.
Ah, beautiful.
There you are. Now.
Oh,
Did you enjoy that?
very much so.
Good. Well, if you have time, I do have a tale of misery and woe, because it's my favorite sort of tale.
All right.
So, there was a superstitious lady. She invited several of her lively, red-blooded friends for supper. As the group assembled, she counted the number of people present. On her right side, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She was number 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people for dinner. Well, that would never do. Being superstitious, she knew that 13 people for dinner was really unlucky. So she asked one of her equally superstitious friends to leave, which, under the circumstances, they were only too happy to do. Relieved, but still concerned, she counted the number of people again. On her right, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She was number 7. On her left, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people for dinner. Strange. She hadn't noticed anyone new arrive. She asked another person to leave. Now, she was convinced there were only 12 people for dinner, but something inside her said, count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She was number 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people for dinner. Was she caught in some hideous cosmic joke? She insisted another person leave, and then, just to be sure, she kicked out one more. And they all sat down for dinner. The next day, the news explained it all, how they found 13 people in that dining room, their bodies blackened by death, food poisoning. Bon appetit.
Okay.
Thank you very much for inviting me to share my magic with you today.
Thank you. And people can learn more about this incredible woman with her tales of misery and woe and magic and witching at going to her website. And it's easy to remember. It's sylviasceptre.com. SylviaSceptre.com.
That one. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
to have you
Deborah.
with us.
Everyone.
Thank you for staying up so late.
My pleasure. It was fun. See you soon.
So this is not, what we're going to go to next is not a tale of misery and woe. It's more on the light side because it's a light touch video. And as we look at this light touch video, what I want to ask everyone to do is to remember what Danyan suggested. Let's do some conscious breathing. Really inhale, maybe make a wish or take a look at the affirmations coming at you, and then exhale. Let's all do that for a couple of minutes. This light touch video created by Jay Mayer is called Perfect Love. And what I love about it is that it's a reminder that perfect love is always available when we look for it. It just might be coming in a different form than we expected. So let's remember to breathe as we watch the video.
You're muted, Scott.
Unfortunately, I was muted and somebody else wasn't. So a big reminder, I'm asking everybody to please remember to keep themselves muted when you're not speaking, because I know we have a lot of people on the panel today because of the costumes and such, but let's remember to keep ourselves muted. Thank you very much. And thank you, Jay Mayer. Let me see if I can find Jay somewhere for a moment so we can all appreciate him. Where is Jay hanging out? Where are you, Jay? There he is. Hey, Jay. Thank you for those really wonderful videos. Thank you again for your support of the show, and thank you for your generous GoFundMe donation. And one of the things that we're offering is people that showed up in costume tonight, if you want to get a free 15-minute demonstration or learn about Light Touch, free 15 minutes with the man himself, just go to light-touch.me. And that's where you can give you contact information, and Jay or the lovely Jan will get right back to you. Jay, we love you so much. Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Deborah, who is going to lead us into the next part of our show. And where are you, Deborah? There, no, there you are.
Thank you, Scott. And one thing that we're doing consistently on this show, because one of the benefits, if there is benefits in all this going on, and we know there is there's a lot of virtual conferences, festivals, and gatherings happening. And this is really helping us to come together, meet each other, and really share potent information. But tonight, there is a dance party happening. And this is being produced by Earth Dance TV and the Glow Tribe. It's the Glow Tribe Shake Your Bones Halloween Bash. So you can jump over there now or right after our show. DJ Dragonfly, incredible DJ, is doing a dance set, as well as DJ Farrell. And here's some more information about it.
There's, there we go. That's the PDF that gives you where to go. And we're going to play a video right now that they created. It's a fun little video. Enjoy. Right.
And they've been creating dance parties ever since the lockdown. And Halloween is definitely their biggest one yet, with DJ Dragonfly and DJ Farrell. So if you want to dance, continue the Halloween party. I've posted in the chat room and on Facebook, and it's free to register. So go join them. I'm going to go there right after the show. So they'll be dancing for a while.
Don't go away right now, because we still have a wonderful musician, and then really the highlight of the evening. And I know we're running late, but Mark Anthony is going to do readings for us. So stick around for that. We're almost there. We're almost to Mark. There is one other thing that I wanted to mention, though, and that is, again, talking about protecting the vote, about really honoring that we've got a really big week ahead of us. And so I'm participating in an event tomorrow. Our good friend Justin Deschamps put it together. I'm going to be leading a prayer and a meditation, and it's called Protect the Vote. You can register and go there by going to protectthevote.live. Protectthevote.live. protectthevote.live, register. It's free. It starts at 11 o'clock in the morning. From 12:30 to 1, we're going to be doing prayer, meditation. This is a nonpartisan, non-denominational event, but an opportunity for us to all come together, unify. We're going to have red people, blue people, purple people, green people, all coming together, holding the highest vision for our country, for our world. It's truly a global peace tribe kind of an event. So I really want to encourage people to come do that with us. And again, I'm going to put up a different banner. There's another way of kind of seeing it. And again, just go to protectthevote.live. There's 2 T's in there, protectthevote.live. Join me. And we've got a lot of wonderful people who are going to be with us. This is being sponsored by about a dozen organizations. They have wonderful speakers. A lot of the speakers have been on our show before. So please join us tomorrow for that. It's important. And usually I do a Sacred Sunday show every Sunday morning, and instead I'm participating in that event. All right, it is time for our last musician of the evening. And to tell us about her, I go back to Deborah.
Thanks, Scott. And yes, we have one more music act, and then please stick around for Mark Anthony. It's going to be totally amazing. Bethany Lovelight is a cosmic conscious musician who offers anthems for avatars, and she's performed at many festivals and conferences, and she specializes in eco-conscious hip hop. So Scott, can you bring her on now? We'd love to see Bethany.
She's there. She's there.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for all the beautiful music and the inspiring information and the costumes. And, you know, my chakras are enlightened and I feel really inspired. So thank you so much. And thank you, Scott and Deborah and Shariah and everyone. Really appreciate it. So hail All Saints Eve, happy Samhain, and Dias de los Muertos, and happy Halloween. And in honor of this bright, beautiful, amazing moon that is shining so bright, I just went out and said hello to the moon. In honor of the moon, which the light that's shining is actually the bright sunlight, I would love to share with you my tribute to the sun entitled Orb in the Sky. There's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? There's an orb in the sky. I shine way up there. Oh yeah, there's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? It's the light of our lives. Give it some love if you dare. The secrets and codes of the cosmos emanate from the sun where the light comes from. So get in it with your bare skin and let it touch you with the information. Radiate with the light from beyond pouring down through us like a cosmic song. Waking us up to the truth that we are intergalactic supernatural stars. There's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? There's an orb in the sky. I shine away up there. Oh yeah, there's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? It's the light of our lives. Give it some love if you dare. Bare feet on the ground, sun all around. My chakras are lit by the light of sound. I'm just in it, breathing it in. My DNA singing hallelujah again. I'm celebrating the light from beyond, pouring down through us like a cosmic song, waking us up to the truth that we are intergalactic supernatural stars. There's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? There's an orb in the sky. I shine away up there. Oh yeah, there's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? It's the light of our lives. Give it some love if you dare. Energy flows from the cosmos, and I feel like I'm generating new rainbows, cause I am, and I like to jam. And when my solar panel's hot, I feel like I can elevate with the light from beyond pouring down through us like a cosmic song, waking us up to the truth that we are intergalactic supernatural stars. There's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? Yeah. There's an orb in the sky. I shine way up there. Oh yeah, there's an orb in the sky. Does anybody care? Yeah. It's the light of our lives. Give it some love if you dare.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Bethy. And want to thank Sharia for introducing you to us.
Yes, thank you, Sharia, for inviting me.
And here is how you can find out all about Bethy Lovelight. Just go to Bethy, B-E-T-H-Y, love, L-O-V-E, light, L-I-G-H-T.com. And she's on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Instagram, Reverberation, CD Baby, and Twitter. So there's a lot of ways you can get more Bethy. God bless you. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. Such a blessing. So honored.
Take care. All right. Well, we are now at kind of what I've been, I love everybody in the show, but I've been really excited about this. We are about to bring Mark Anthony on, and it's a real blessing to have this fellow with us. So there he is.
Sorry, my internet keeps dropping in and out. We're having a windstorm. I live East Coast, Central Florida, so it's all very Halloween-y.
All right. Well, we're gonna hold the vision. This is gonna come true because this is like the peak experience we've all been looking for, Mark. I just want to tell people briefly about you. Mark is the psychic lawyer and the psychic explorer, also known as the psychic attorney and psychic adventurer. The bottom line is Mark is a world-renowned fourth generation science-based evidential psychic medium who communicates with spirits. He's the author of the critically acclaimed Amazon and spiritual bestsellers, Never Letting Go and Evidence of Eternity. We're going to bring those up a little bit later. And he has the reputation as being a psychic Indiana Jones. He's a recurring guest on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox Television, and all of the major talk radio shows. He's been Coast to Coast, Darkness Radio, Sirius XM, as a psychic medium, paranormal, and after-death communication expert. And when we found out that we could get him on our show tonight, we were just super excited. Now, I want to say that if he starts bringing through spirits that any of you feel connected to, you need to click raise your hand. I will try to find you as fast as possible. It'll be easier if it's people that are already on the panel, but if it's people in our Zoom room, and we still have 250 people in the Zoom room, so you need to immediately raise your hand, and I'll do my best to bring you on as quickly as possible so you can connect with your spirit friends on the other side. And with that, take it away, Mark.
Well, thank you, Scott. It's always interesting doing spirit communication ever since COVID came in and these Zoom events. So what happens is when I open up my brain to higher frequencies, spirits are going to come forward. They're going to be connected to one or possibly more people in the cyber audience. So if it makes sense to more than one person, please raise your hand so Scott can identify that. Also, when we narrow it down to one or two people, the spirits are going to keep presenting me information till we can find the right person that the messages are for. That being said, one of the things that I've observed in the last several years is what I call collective consciousness communication. And spirits are never alone. They're part of, think of your soul as a drop of water. And so when you die, that drop of water leaves your brain and it plunges into the eternal sea of consciousness. So spirits are interconnected to other spirits, and so we're going to get a lot of drops of water coming through, and they're going to use me as the conduit to communicate. So let's say that I'm doing a reading for Deborah, and her spirit or spirits come through, but the message for Deborah resonates with 6 or 7 other people. It touches your heartstrings. Take it, because that is collective consciousness communication. So even if you don't receive an individualized reading, but something comes through for somebody else that resonates with you, that touches you in a certain way, that makes you feel positive, then that's the nature of spirit communication. Does that make sense with everybody? Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. So I'm picking up on a female energy coming through. Now, what's fascinating about this lady, she looks like she stepped out of like the Donna Reed show. I mean, this is like, she's got to be somebody's either mother or grandmother, because her fashion sense was developed in the late 1950s, without a doubt. And what I get about her is she wasn't just like a traditional stay-at-home mom. She was definitely a career woman, but that's when she felt that she was at her peak, was like in the late 1950s, early 1960s. But what I'm getting with her is toward the end of her life, I see her elderly. I see her right around 85, 86, and I'm seeing massive pressure and pain build up in the lymph glands of her throat. And it feels like a sore throat. So this could be strep throat or some other infection that was definitely inflaming her throat. I'm feeling lungs filling up with fluid. This could be congestive heart failure, but this could also be a pneumonia. This poor lady was pretty sick, because I'm also getting my feet are feeling icy and cold, so she was having circulation issues, but I feel like I'm shivering one second and then burning up for the next. And this is going back to what I'm saying about the sore throat. I think that she was had a terrible infection, and that's why real high fever. So that's why I'm vacillating, or what was going on with her is, you know how when you have a real high fever, and like 1 minute you're freezing, the next minute you're burning up. Let me see. Does this so far make sense with anybody? I want to hold position here.
A reminder, if you're going, oh my God, that's my mom, my grandmother, I need you to raise your hand. I'm on gallery view for the panelists, but for the 250 people in the Zoom room, you gotta raise your hand and let me know that that's who you're feeling, okay? All right, Michelle C. So Michelle C., I'm going to promote you to panelist, and you'll be with us in a moment.
Jan, is this making sense to you?
It is, though my mother didn't really look like Donna Reed, but...
When I said looked like she stepped out of the Donna Reed show, I'm sorry, my bad. She didn't look like Donna Reed, but that whole, the June Cleaver, Donna Reed, that era, that's what I mean. That's what I meant. So please forgive me. All right, how does that make sense?
It does make sense.
All right, hold on. She keeps hammering me with the month of July. Now, July doesn't necessarily mean it has to apply to her. What this could indicate is a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event, which could be connected to her or you or somebody close to the two of you. Is there a July connection?
Hi, I think this may be my grandmother. She had.
Is that Michelle?
Yes.
Michelle.
Okay, hi. It's always weird doing this with Zoom because I got to find it here. Okay, go ahead, Michelle. All right, and hold on, Jan, because we could have more than one person here. Go right ahead, Michelle.
Her son's birthday was July 1st, I believe, and she had diabetes, and
All right, hold
when
on.
she died.
hold, just be careful. Don't give me too much. Just go on. See what it is with mediums. The critique is, oh, you're cold reading and all this. And I don't want you to give me information just to verify what I did. And July makes sense with her. Now, the other thing about July, she's now holding up a ruby. Ruby is the birthstone for the month of July. And this could mean a couple different things. There could be a piece of jewelry with a red stone, probably a ruby in it, that may make sense to you in some way. And the cool thing about rubies is it can also be a trigger for a name like a Ruby or a Rudy, which could be connected to you or her. The other possibility, because it's July, could be like a Julie. Okay, so go ahead. Does any of that make sense?
Her mother gave me a ring that had a ruby in it, and that was
Bingo.
my inheritance.
All right, we got your grandma. Okay, now hold on. She is work. All right, look, I know work drives everyone crazy, but is work driving you crazy? She said you're getting distracted. Work is driving you crazy, and it's like she's showing you like taking a pencil and like wanting to just break it in half. Does that make any sense to you, Michelle?
I love my job, but it's hard to work from home and homeschool at the same time. So yes.
Okay. All right. She said you can handle it. You can handle it. You can handle it. And what's with the swimming lessons? Swimming lessons. Are you or is someone connected to you either taking some type of swimming lessons or something about swimming? This is like a real big deal.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm drowning every day.
Yeah, I don't want to stretch to make it fit. All right. Do you swim a lot?
No.
Why not?
I don't know how to swim at all.
Swimming lessons for someone who doesn't know how to swim. Now is this starting to make a little bit more sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, now I understand the message. Not that you have to run out to the Y and start taking swimming lessons, but what your grandmother is telling me is that you have to do things that you're afraid to do to build confidence. Now, the cool thing about this, Michelle, is that's kind of what you do anyway. She said there's no challenge, there's no obstacle, there's no fear factor that you won't conquer. She said that you take things head on, you hit it, you confront it, and you always get through it. And she said, while you're at it, learn how to swim.
Hey, Mark, I just want to let you know that I've also added from our Zoom room, Alice Stroud, whose mother was named Ruby and was born in July.
Okay, perfect. I want to hold that for a second because I'm going to go over to her. Collective consciousness communication. What will happen is spirits with a commonality, either the people that they're talking to here or among themselves, come in a group. And the commonality here is the name Ruby, born in July. Okay, where's Allison? Am I able to see her here?
I'll add her now. There she is.
Okay. Oh, hi, Alice. Okay. Interesting. She showed me the Cancer time frame. Now, hold on a second. Cancer, when I see the image of a crab, this can mean a couple different things because normally when I do a reading, I do about a 15 to 20 minute pre-explanation to explain how they work with me. When I see the image of a crab, now that could mean the Cancer time frame, which runs roughly from June 20th to July 20th, and there could be births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you or your mom or someone close to you within that time frame. But it could also mean, hey, you love or hate eating shellfish or iodine allergy, but it could also mean the disease cancer. Does any of the above make sense to you?
She was born July 23rd, which I understood to be on the cusp.
Oh, yeah, close enough. Okay.
She did not have cancer that I know of.
Right. Oh, the other thing is a lot of times spirits will bring up things that don't necessarily apply to them. It could apply to you or somebody else close to you. And she's zeroing in on the front end of your car. What's going on with the front end of your car? Did you have some issue with one of your tires recently? Because she's showing me a tire on the passenger front side feels kind of soft, like you could be losing air in it, or it's going bald, or there's some problem with that. Does this make any sense?
Well, one of the front tires was quite bald. I replaced them both.
That would be a
Recently.
yes. Okay.
I
So,
guess, yeah.
all right. Well, no, not I guess. That's a yes. If you just replace the tire. And the reason that I say this, because a lot of times people are like, well, why do they bring up things like this? The spirit is building a rapport with me, and they'll start bringing in things that may appear initially to be somewhat smaller, and we lock onto each other because now she wants to talk about you, and she's zeroing in now on your thyroid gland, and she's telling you that it's not really in a bad state, but she's talking about you getting this sense of like sometimes when you stand up too quick and you get this dizziness and you feel this fatigue and disorientation. She said that also you're pushing yourself too hard, you're not sleeping enough. And she said that you think you're hydrating enough, but you're not. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yeah, I don't sleep well. What was the other one? I forget.
I don't know. It comes in so fast, I don't always remember it. Something with your thyroid. Something with your thyroid. When's the last time you had your thyroid checked?
Oh, it's been years since I've been to a doctor.
All right. So write this down. Monday morning, call doctor, make an appointment. Okay, because this is what I call spirit intervention, where spirit's coming in to intervene to head off at the past a problem. And they are meaning your mother, but on behalf of the collective, is zeroing in on your thyroid. And I'm getting this sense of dizziness at times. Also, that's the thyroid issue is affecting your ability to sleep. So she wants you to get that taken care of. All right, another spirit's coming in. I think it's maybe connected to somebody else. I'm getting a younger male energy coming through, and he could have been late teens, early 20s, and I'm getting this massive impact sensation to my head. I'm tasting blood. Please forgive me for being graphic. I'm tasting blood, and this was a traumatic passing, and I feel like he could have been on a bike or a motorcycle because I'm getting ejected, or when I say I mean he is getting ejected from this. And this feels like there was blunt force trauma to the front end of this vehicle, this motorcycle or bike that he was on. And he got, catapulted, and his passing was immediate upon impact. And I know that's very intense and very graphic. Let me see with him, medium build, little bit on the muscular side, not huge. For the most part, clean shaven, but he had a bit of stubble on his face. This was a white kid. And this was totally an accident. Is this making sense with anybody?
So far, nobody on that one, but Mark, on your previous person.
Hold on. Somebody's raising her hand. Hold that.
Atira.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Atira.
Although the age is off, almost to the day my lover was killed in a rollover accident. I was in it, and he died. He died instantly because I think he had a heart attack at the time. But
was it a motorcycle accident?
No, it was
no. I don't want to stretch to make it fit. This is a young guy, late teens, early 20s. I'm seeing the handlebars, and I'm seeing him going right over it. And he keeps giving me a number 37. That could be March 7th. That could be July 3rd. That could be the number 37, the number 73, because numbers are always tricky. Does that make any sense with you then? Well, I'm sorry, your name. Okay. What'll happen is after this, somebody's going to say, oh gosh, that was my neighbor's son. Okay. Because a lot of times it's not a relative. Let's see what this young guy, no, he's not letting me go. There is somebody here that had either a relative or a friend, this young guy who passed. All right, we'll ask him to step aside. All right, stand by.
Can we go back to the last?
Who's saying that?
This is Jan, and
I'm trying to find out where you are on the screen. So
I've got to.
Yeah, COVID has made everything challenging.
Right.
Okay, Jan, go right ahead.
Well, here's my father. He's been on my little altar. His name is Reuben, and he was called Ruby. And my mother died. I was with her when she passed, and she had pneumonia, and she also had lung cancer. I don't know if it's her. There's other people here that have, like you said.
Hold on. She had the lung cancer. Your father, Reuben, they called him what?
Ruby.
Ruby. Okay, collective consciousness communication. Does the month of September have any relevance to you or your parents? Because they're hitting me big time with September.
September. Wow. You know, I can't say for sure. July, my brother was born in July, and my brother was born severely retarded with the umbilical cord around his neck, which affected them a lot. So,
Right. Hold on. Remember when, please, and not, first off, I'm sorry that you've been through all this, but stick with what I'm presenting instead of giving me facts, because anything I get, I want to make sure is coming from the spirits as opposed to what you're telling me. Now, I still want to stick with the month of September. Just because they're giving me September doesn't necessarily mean it's about them. It could be a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to you or someone close to you or to them within the month of September. And it's weird because they keep zeroing in right around the 23rd, which would also be, what's that, the autumnal equinox. Okay, unless the equinox would make sense to you in any way.
well, nothing really specific, and except that we lived in the Midwest, and it was fall, and it was wonderful. And
all right, I want you to think about that, because after the reading, and I explain this in my books and in my lectures and in my presentations, there's a period of time I call the unfolding, and the reading's like a flower, and it blooms, blossoms, and unfolds, and it'll start making more and more sense to you. But they do want to talk to you, Jan, and they're talking about your molars, particularly on the upper right side and the back. Are you having any issues with your teeth in that area?
not specifically right now, but I do have a dental appointment coming up soon. But I believe I had all my wisdom teeth taken out. I don't know.
Okay. Is this a routine checkup, or are they looking for something in particular on the dental appointment?
It's routine.
Be prepared for some news about one of your molars, because what they're talking about is an abscess. And the thing is, you don't even really know it just yet. I'm feeling that building up. The other thing they're talking about is, what's this thing with you? Do you hyperventilate or get like panic attacks? Because they're talking about you, and when they do, and they're concerned because I get this like that. Does that make any sense to you?
It does.
Okay, in what way?
Just anxiety and sleeping and.
Okay, let's see what they. Well, there's a lot going on, and please forgive me. There's a lot going on with you hormonally, but that's part of it. And your mother's saying, don't worry so much about it. But there's also something going on with you with your blood sugar levels. And they're telling me that your blood sugar is causing a lot of this physical stress. They're also telling me that, I don't want to necessarily use the word worry wart, but let's say that you're very concerned about everybody around you. Also, you're an empath, aren't you? They're talking about you being an empath. Oh, that's what's going on. You're like a sponge for everybody else's problems. And your mom is telling you that you've got to start envisioning like there's mirrors around you deflecting other people's tension away from you, so that when this starts happening with you, realize that, especially with the panic attacks, like that, what's going on is you're picking up on angst from other people. And they're also telling me that when you get into crowds, like if you went to a shopping mall or some crowded place, that is very, very stressful and very, very difficult for you. And even though intellectually, oh, I'm an empath, you have to make it a concerted effort to deflect away from you other people's angst. Because what your dad, I was switching over to your dad, and what he said is those problems are those people's problems. You can acknowledge them, but they are not yours to absorb. And the reason they're talking about your teeth is you grind your teeth when you're sleeping, and it's causing issues, particularly in your molars. So when you go to the dentist, don't be surprised if they say, you know, you need a bite guard because you're going to end up cracking a molar. That's what they're telling me. Does that make any sense to you?
It does. It does. And it's all very close to home.
Okay, well, see, spirits are here, and the joke I like to make, because both my parents are on the other side. Just because your parents are dead doesn't mean they're going to stop telling you what to do, okay? but they do that because they love you, all right? And once again, this is what I call spirit intervention, because they're coming in to intervene to prevent some type of problem, okay? Boy, I wish somebody could take that young guy on the motorcycle, because he is just hammering me. So I'm going to have to ask him to step aside. Okay.
I need to ask a question about that. Do you have
Sure.
a hair?
Who's that?
This is Casey. Do you have a hair color for the motorcycle rider? Because I did lose a brother tragically.
Was it darker?
No.
Well, what color was his hair? I'm just.
Like a dirty blonde.
And did he tend to skip shaving? Kind of like a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not worry so much about hair color, because I'm seeing darker. You're saying dirty blonde. You know, we don't want to split hairs. Okay, and that's psychic humor.
It's been a long time, and we had lost touch. So,
Just,
yeah, I'm like fuzzy on details.
Hold on, Casey. I don't mean to interrupt. That's have your brother aquamarine. He showed me an aquamarine, which is the birthstone for the month of March. Is there a significance either to the color aquamarine, the stone aquamarine, or a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to him or you or someone close to you within the month of March?
Ooh, not that I know of. I mean, there's April, but there's not March.
No, it's March.
I know of.
And did you have a ginger colored kitty, like a tabby?
No.
All right, who had the tabby, ginger colored tabby? This cat is orbiting the spirit.
Hey, Mark, I don't know about the tabby yet, but I just brought into our room Rachel Rose. She had a friend who lost a son in a motorcycle accident 2 or 3 years ago, who may have been 37. So Rachel.
Oh, right, with the number 37. Okay, let me see. We just got to.
Just added Rachel.
Okay, I'm trying to find out where she is.
I'll always
there she is. Hi, Rachel. Okay. Rachel, just out of curiosity, orange kitty cat makes sense to you in any way?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, there we go. All right. Let me tell you why that's so important. So that spirit didn't match up with the last person, but it's matching up with Rachel. And when a spirit gives me a message of an explanatory advisory nature, so we got the description of the young man, how he passed, and then we get the ginger colored kitty, which is an objectively verifiable fact. So when I get a message of advice or explanation, and then the spirit follows it up with an objectively verifiable fact, like the kitty, the verifiable fact is how the spirit's letting us know we've properly received and interpreted the message. Boom, because they know I want verification. So this one's for you, Rachel. So this was the son of a friend of yours. Okay.
I didn't know him, but I didn't really know him. And I
But
really
you know his mother though, right?
We're Facebook friends. I never met her in person, but he was the aquamarine. He was a surfer and was in the ocean a lot.
Okay.
I don't know his birthday though.
Is your dad on the other side?
Definitely.
Okay, because he
Long
just.
time.
All right, hold on, because he's stepping aside. He's like pulling your dad in. And with your dad, what I'm getting is, oh my God. Well, before I assume this is your dad, there's a guy on the generation that would be your father's level, and I'm getting a massive pressure buildup in my head. This could be high blood pressure. This could be a stroke, or this could have been something else going on inside of his head prior to passing. The other thing is that I'm getting is his consciousness coming in and out of clarity toward the end. So I don't know if he was like dementia or heavily medicated, but he's telling me he knew what was going on. He said, but he was having a really hard time trying to communicate. Does this make sense?
Yeah, he died of lymphoma. He was heavily medicated with chemotherapy. This was 1977.
Hold on. Remember, be careful about giving me the
Yes.
whole scoop.
All right.
Okay. All right, hold on. What's with you and Mother of Pearl? Mother of Pearl.
Mhm. I love pearls are my birthstone. I'm a June.
Bingo. Mother of Pearl. Pearls are your birthstone. All right, so now we know we got him. You know, he knows that you love him, and he knows that you know that he loved you.
Definitely.
But he wants to make it crystal clear that he loves you. And the funny thing about your dad, he comes across like a military guy. Like, I mean, well, no, hold on before you make the faces. Okay.
No,
What I'm getting is he's like in my face, like, you tell her that I love her. Okay. And that she needs to know this. And also, she needs to stop second guessing herself. When she makes a decision, she needs to trust her instinct, because her first impression is good, but then she'll sit there and question it, and come up with, and then you'll sit there and say, well, am I doing the right thing? He said, you always do the right thing because of your innate sense of morality, compassion, and love for others.
Thank you.
I want to leave that with you.
Mark, earlier Noelle had quite a few connections. I'm going to bring her back on. She was really connecting to one of your earlier. So Noelle, go ahead and unmute, and you can share with Mark what was happening for you.
Oh, well, thank you, Scott. That's so nice of you. You know, I thank you, Mark, for doing all these wonderful readings. I'm connecting in so many different ways. So you were talking about collective consciousness. And so I'm hearing all these messages and I'm taking them to heart. I'm definitely an empath. Relate to having the panic and picking up on other people's energy. My dad died of a blunt head injury and was in the hospital for 3 days and was in and out of it. And his last communication was to me. And
hold on. Did he like Elvis?
Oh, yes. Oh,
because I'm hearing ho 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 ho, and I mean I'm hearing this whole Elvis thing, and he's talking, he's singing. All right, if I don't do this, he goes, "It's a blue Christmas without you." Oh, I mean, I'm getting this whole Elvis thing going on, and wow, Blue Christmas, and now Elvis's birthday was January 8th, so he's definitely pulling me into January, first 2 weeks in January. So there could be something with you or him there, but
my grandmother, I'll say that, my grandmother.
Okay, so you got a bunch of folks, okay, coming through. Now, it's interesting that of all the songs that he picked was Blue Christmas. And we know that when somebody we love dies, the holidays after that are really, really tough. But he said that he's holding up a candy cane and he's breaking it. And so after he died, was Christmas like not happening for you? Or was there some issue with December?
Well, my birthday is in December.
There we go. Okay. So what it is, they gotta get me to December, and stand by.
This is a big birthday for me, so yeah.
I know turning 30 is really tough. So
right.
Hold on. So your birthday's coming up. So that's why he is pulling me into the month of December, and you meditate a lot, don't you?
You know, so I like, yes.
Yeah, that's a yes. The reason I'm saying that is because I'm hearing, whenever I hear like this, what that means is that you are in a meditative state, are increasing your vibrational frequency, and spirits hear that. Okay, so you got your dad over there, and did somebody have a little dog like a Chihuahua? Somebody's got some little dog over there.
My dog Honey, which was my Cocker Spaniel, but I'm a big animal lover. I have 2 baby kittens right now. They're only 6 days old.
Okay. No, I'm seeing a Chihuahua. Okay. Don't worry. Hold on. All right. Oh, your dad won't give up. Somebody had a Chihuahua. Somebody in the room had a Chihuahua. All right, but let me get this message from your dad. Hold on. Perfect Earth? Perfect Earth. I mean, come on, we all know, Earth's beautiful, but it's not perfect. But he keeps using the term perfect Earth. And now he's showing me Earth Day, which is April 22nd. Is there something at or around April 22nd which makes sense to you?
I'm a very earthy person, and I think I brought that back to my dad, but he was that way too.
Okay.
Heaven
All right.
on earth.
Heaven on earth. Well, there you go. I'll leave that with you. You know, it's really nice because a lot of times I make connections for people that had horrible relationships with family members, and your dad just loves you so much.
I love
this has been a really great group to do connections for. He said, you talk to him and do you sing to him?
I do.
You sing to him. Okay, that's interesting because you got the meditation, but you actually sing to him, and he's in spirit, and he says, I hear you. I hear you.
We were a singing family, and that was my mother's vision for us, that we'd all get back together in the heavenly choir.
Well, you will, but no big rush, okay? Because they're going to be there for you. Hey, who had the degree in English? They're talking about like a degree in English.
Hey, Mark, I want to acknowledge that one of our panelists had a Chihuahua
Okay.
that he put to sleep last week.
Oh, that passed last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
so
Yeah.
much.
What happens when I open up, it's not like spirits come in one at a time and go, hello, I'm spirit number 1. And here's the name. I get like a mob. Okay. And we get dogs, cats. I mean, I even connected with a bear once. That was a whole nother story. All right. So who's the person with the Chihuahua that
I've got
passed?
her in, I've pinned her now. Her name is Susie, and she's right there.
Okay. Susie, hold on. Let me go
Always
to.
take a look. I always bring them into the pinned room. So if you just stay on speaker view, you'll always see the people that I'm bringing in.
Perfect. Okay. There we go.
So it's Susie.
Thank you.
Say something, Susie.
Hi.
Hey, Susie. How you doing?
I'm still in denial.
Okay.
I'm
Hey, what's-
sad about
Susie,
my baby.
Susie, what's with you? And look, I know everybody likes brownies with walnuts, but one of these spirits is really giving me brownies with walnuts when they talk to you. All right, do you love? All right,
That would
love
be my
brownies.
mom.
Hey,
She
that
also
would be your
passed.
mom. I'm sorry.
She passed a year ago, August, and I'm just now coming out of that.
Okay, and she's the brownies with walnuts
She's supposed
person.
to contact me, but she hasn't done it yet.
Well, she's doing it now. I need you to cooperate.
she's
Come
big at
on. Okay, so she, sorry, I'm just. And she said you need a new shower curtain. Shower curtain. Did you do something with your bathroom, like reorganize? Oh, that's a yes. Okay, tell us what's going on.
Oh, my internet just slowed down. It'll come back. My friend is in the bathtub right now because I don't have a shower curtain. I'm serious. She's taking a bath.
All right. So mom says you need a new shower curtain. So what are we going to do tomorrow? We're making a trip to Bed Bath and Beyond. All right. So yeah, your mom's coming through. Now, the reason they bring things like that up is because she wants you to know that she's around you and aware of what's happening. And she said that she is making contact with you. And I have to explain this. What's going on, Susie, is you're so distraught from her passing, completely understandable, that your intense grief is causing an unintentional barrier. Okay. And so instead of saying, Mom, I want you to come through, what you have to do instead is, Mom, I invite you to come into my dreams. I welcome you to send me a sign. Do you see the difference there? You're taking the I want, and the angst and taking the angst out of it and turning it into a receptive energy. And that's why she brought up the shower curtain thing. And what's with you and all the grapefruit? I'm getting all this. Oh, okay, that looks like a yes. What's with the grapefruit?
No, figs.
Hold on. Do you love grapefruit, hate grapefruit,
It's
or
fig.
are you? I'm sorry?
I've been really involved with figs. There's a huge fig tree.
No,
I don't know anything about grapefruit.
No. Don't start doing figs if I give you grapefruit. Okay. Are you on any type of prescription medication where you're not allowed to eat grapefruit? Hold on. There's something with you and grapefruit.
My mom was.
You're all right.
My
That's
mom.
it. That's
It was
it.
my
Very
mom.
good. Very good, Susie. See, we're getting this, and that's a verifiable fact following a message. Your mom was. She's talking about your blood pressure, your blood pressure, your blood pressure. She said it's better than it used to be, but it's kind of up and down, up and down. What's going on with you and your blood pressure?
It's always really low. I don't really have any blood pressure, but she did.
Well, hold on.
Not
Your
me, though.
blood pressure is always really low. Low on the normal end of things, or low where you need to get it back up?
Yeah.
Yes, what? Yes.
Low normal. Yes,
You need-
normal low.
You need to be keeping an eye on that, because certainly high blood pressure is bad, but so is when your blood pressure is too low. So the reason that she's coming through, she's telling you that you need to keep an eye on the blood pressure. Oh, your Chihuahua's stepping forward. Okay. Okay. Chihuahuas, and they always have a lot of energy. You know, they're very energetic dogs. This dog thought it was a pit bull. Okay. Especially when it came to protecting you. All right. So you had a very, very good bond with this ant. Was this a female?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I see her spirit like orbiting, circling you. And this dog was actually a very good judge of character. Like if somebody came around that was a good person, the dog was very mellow. And if somebody was a disingenuous person, the dog picked up on that right away. And she's also thanking you for making the, did you have to have her put down? Because I'm getting this, she was in such agony, and she knows that you've been agonizing over the decision to put her down. She wants to thank you. She said the pain, see, as a spirit, she understands why you had to do what you did. When she was in material world form, she was just in absolute agony. And so that's why she's reaching out from the other side to thank you for putting an end to that absolute misery. And she knows how difficult that was for you. And this dog also knows that you would never do anything harmful or hurtful to her. So she said, thank you. Let me tell you something. Animals communication is always fascinating, because animals either like you or they don't. They're not like human relationships where we have all these subtleties and nuances and things. And so she's coming through to make it very clear in no uncertain terms that she could not have had a better guardian. And so I will leave that with you.
Hey, Mark, thank you so much for all that you've done tonight. I mean, this is really something.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot different. See, when I do public events, I can see the crowd. It's just different on computer. But we're dealing with pure energy, which moves at the speed of light, and so that's why we're able to do it like this. And like all of us, spirits too, they're learning how to adapt to this COVID pandemic. For what it's worth. In the past 8 months, I've been getting a lot of messages from spirits. I'd say 95% of the readings, they talk about COVID. And it looks like March of 2021, things are going to start to turn around for the better. Now, that may coincide with a vaccine or viable treatments. And the really weird thing is, I was talking to one of my clients. I did a reading on her last September, not September of 2019. And I kept telling her that in March of 2020, I said, I see you wearing a surgical mask. I don't know if you're going to be going through surgery, but everybody's around you wearing a surgical mask. Are you in the medical profession? She goes, I have no idea what that means. She contacted me recently. She goes, Mark, now I realize what you were talking about is everybody was wearing a mask, at least in her circles, as of March of 2020. So just because something doesn't immediately make sense to you now that came through, give it time. Because like I said before, the reading's like a flower which blooms, blossoms, and unfolds, and it takes time for it to unfold and make sense to you. Scott, I want to thank you and Deborah and the entire Saturday Night Alive team for having me on.
Absolutely.
It's been an honor. So thank you.
I want people to know how they can learn more about you. His website is evidenceofeternity.com. Evidenceofeternity.com, which is, again, the title of this wonderful book where he really goes into these amazing experiences that we've been seeing tonight. And I want to bring up a couple of other things just because I am so grateful for all that you've shared with us tonight, Mark. Also, Mark, I'm going to do a full 90-minute show with Mark. As most of you know by now, we have a sister show called Straight Talk, and Mark is going to be my guest for 90 minutes on Straight Talk. We've got him booked in December for that. He's the psychic lawyer, the psychic adventurer. He's the Indiana Jones of the psychic world. And again, there's a lot going on. You can find him on Sirius, Fox News, ABC, CBS, NBC. He's just a remarkable person. And it's great to have you in our world now, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just launched a radio show Thursday night on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. It's called The Psychic and the Doc. And I'm joining forces, or have joined forces, with Dr. Pat of the Dr. Pat Show.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and we had our first show, and it's going to be every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So I'm mentioning because this doesn't coincide with your show. So, but I'd like to invite everybody to tune in on Transformation Talk Network, which is on 50 AM and FM radio stations and Spotify, IR, and basically it hits something like 5 million people worldwide. I don't even think I have the numbers right because I know it's big. And what's going to happen is, we'll be interviewing some guests. It's an hour show. And in the second half, I'll be doing readings for callers. And then you also get a double shot because then Dr. Pat, who is a world-renowned behavioral psychologist, will help interpret and how the messages from the other side are going to benefit you. And that's The Psychic and the Doc on TransformationTalkRadioNetwork.com. And once again, Scott and Deborah and everybody on your team, thank you so much. And have a happy Halloween. And let's all pray for good things happening, let's say around November 3rd.
Absolutely. Peace. May we find peace and unity.
Peace. And you know what? Whoever wins, no violence, no violence, no violence.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. God bless you, Mark. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon. We've got Mark already scheduled for a couple of other things that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. That's right. It is. I was looking for which Friday it was. So I've gone to gallery view because I just want to say thanks to all of our friends who have been with us throughout the show. You've all been wonderful. It's been a special show. We still have over 200 people in our Zoom room. We still have thousands watching on our different channels, Facebook, who enjoyed Mark and music by Pollyanna, Greg Magic Bernstein. And thank you to our friends who dressed up in costume. It was really, really fun having all of you with us. And to say a final good night, my partner, Deborah.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's always so amazing. We never know how the soup is going to taste when we put all the ingredients in. And again, this show is really special. Thank you to the presenters, and the musicians were fabulous. Thank you, Mark. That was amazing. And thank you for joining us on this journey of walking on the other side and really honoring this sacred time of All Hallows Eve of Samhain. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone.
And I want to just encourage everybody now, let's slow down. Let's integrate what we've learned from Mark, from Daniel, from Magic, from Guinevere, the music we heard. And let's remember what Daniel taught us, to breathe slowly, consciously, and just trust our imagination. Don't let any fears or blocks stop us. Tonight, let's all connect in our own unique way to those that we are honoring, loving, and missing. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for the Protect the Vote event, and I know we'll see all of you next Saturday night. Good night, everybody, and remember to vote.